Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome on this January 7th, 2023. I was going to say it's our first edition of Dave's Gone By for the new year, except we kind of leaked into the brand new year last week when we did our wonderful New Year's Eve celebration program. I hope you were there for that. We did it at a special time. We actually did it Saturday night, going into Sunday morning from about 10 in the evening Eastern time until we're supposed to finish up at about 20 after 12, and we went almost close to like 1 o'clock. But it was delightful, and we had so many wonderful guests that I thanked when they were on. So many friends of the Daverhood, people who've been on this program in years past, and did us the honor of coming back and celebrating the new year with us, which is now 7 days old. And here we are again. It's Saturday morning. We're here from 9 until noon or thereabout with the usual mix of nonsense. I was going to say nonsense and sense, but really mostly nonsense. And our usual segments. For example, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we will be going to Newcastle, Colorado. Newcastle, yes, it's not just apparently Pennsylvania or England where they bring coals to Newcastle. No, we're bringing horrible, evil poetry to Newcastle, Colorado. That's a bit later in the show. We have our today, yesterday trivia quiz. Yes, we didn't have one over the new year, but we do it pretty much every week where we have a couple of panelists try to answer ridiculous trivia questions for no money, no prizes, no real prestige either. It's just a way to kill an hour on a Saturday morning, but it's a lot of fun. And joining us will be Leslie Hoban Blake. She unfortunately will not have her camera on, but we will hear her. And we will hear and see Vicki Quade, our beloved writer and actress from Chicago, from Chicago, where she does Bible bingo and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? And of course, Late Night Catechism, which has been running for almost 30 years now in and around Chicago and all over the country as well. But she plays the game along with Leslie and our special guest in the Daverhood coming up in about half an hour. First, she'll be interviewed by the great Rabbi Sol Solomon. If you know the show, I don't have to explain who Rabbi Sol Solomon is. As a matter of fact, if you're any kind of police person or court person or anybody in Interpol, CIA, or FBI, you know who Rabbi Sol Solomon is. He's the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And he will be interviewing someone who is even a more confident speaker than he is. And it's not that he's a good speaker, he's just really brash and awful. But we have with us Reesa Woolf, and she has spent 30 plus years coaching people, mostly in the business and the business executive world. And notice to say that I'm doing the Joe Franklin hand move, in the business world, to be better speakers. You know, when they have to go to these big things like Kevin McCarthy had to give a speech last night when, I don't know, after several years, he finally he finally got voted in as Speaker of the House. So he had to, at 1 o'clock in the morning or whenever it was, he had to give a big old speech. Well, she could have coached him. I mean, he apparently did a good job, but this is what Reesa Woolf does. She gets people ready to give the speeches of their lives, or especially TED Talks. One of the things is that she grooms people when they want to or they have to go and give a TED Talk, which is a specific kind of thing. I always feel not bad, but I feel a little, not even guilty. What would be the word? See, if I were coached by Reesa Woolf, I would have the word. I feel a little under-armored, if you will, and not like the coach. I feel when I teach, which I do, I teach English at a university, but I feel like, why isn't this like a TED Talk? Why am I not so incredibly prepared 32 times a year, and just doing brilliantly? Because what is it? What is a TED? It's somebody standing there telling a story or talking or giving great advice or explaining some kinds of theories, and they'll sometimes have some audio visual, but it's mostly about the speaker. And I'll figure, these people, they get on TED Talks, and for 15, 20 minutes, you're wrapped because they're so good at what they do. And they're so interesting, and there's no matter what the topic is, right? And they have the audience, and the audience is into it, and it's just like, whoa, best college course ever. And then I stand up there in front of undergraduate students 2 or 3 times a week, and it's like, hey, and this, and the verb goes, and well, this story is about, and let's all talk about this. Let's have a discussion about, anybody, so you did the reading. Did any of you do the reading? Okay, the 2 of you who did the reading, and it's like all the air. It's like a TED Talk. It's a dead talk. But I do my best. I got my paycheck. But if she could prepare me, like, to do 40 hours because that's how many classroom hours a professor's supposed to do when you're doing a semester's worth of work. If she could get me to that point where every time I come in, I am like, I'm TEDing this through. I am TED ahead, if you will, with this lecture today. And boy, oh boy, you kids are not going to be on your cell phones. You're going to be sitting there going, when's lunch? And by the way, this is for an 8 o'clock in the morning class. And it's just going there like, oh God, best professor ever. I mean, I'm going to skip my next class just so I can sit from doing this again later today with another group. Yeah, this would make my year. This would make my life if people felt like that, or even if they felt like that when I was on stage doing shows. But I hope you feel a bit of that when I'm winging it here on Saturday morning, doing the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. So yes, Reesa Woolf will be with us, being interviewed by Rabbi Saul and playing the Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz alongside some of our regular great panelists and Greeley crimes at all times. Because my wife Joyce and I, who'll be along in a moment or two, we lived, in Colorado for a bunch of years. And while we were there, we got the local newspaper because it was free at the university. So, not that it wasn't worth paying for. I would pay on it a little bit, for the 2 columns that are in the Greeley Tribune every week. And basically, they are based on real things, one of which is phone calls that come in from people who see weird things going on in the neighborhood up in northern Colorado and feel they have to call the police department and get the force right on it. And the funniest, weirdest ones get collated and grabbed for the column every week in the paper. And then there's another column that Mike Peters is still doing. And it's called 100 Years Ago. He's going through the newspapers now from 1923 and looking for silly, cute, ridiculous, nostalgic things to our modern eyes that were really printed in northern Colorado newspapers back 100 years ago. Well, we mix them both up and we call that Greeley Crimes and Old Times. And it's a whole bunch of fun. So that's what we do. And that's what we will be doing on this particular episode. Let me grab a cup of coffee in my folder. Hey, there's my coffee. I was wondering where it is, because of course I've got my morning scratchy throat today. Haven't had to take a full minute out and heave or but that's coming. Anyway, good morning to you. From my $5 Big Lots mug, which we get because it has like a retractable lid thing. It's really cool. Except I didn't realize that if you have it for a while, you put really hot coffee or really hot tea in it, and before any ice or milk goes into it, and you try and reach it by anything but the handle, this isn't that well insulated. So, the other day I was reaching for like a hot tea, and I just say, I'll just grab it this way. No, I won't. You can still see the mark on my finger. But what do I want to talk to you about? What do I want to clear my throat, quite literally, with before we really, get cracking with the guest and Rabbi Saul and everything that we have to do? Well, it's been an interesting new year so far. If you've been watching the news, I get a little more time to spend like surfing the TV and websites than I will again when I'm teaching later in the month. But this whole House thing. I don't know. First of all, I hate Republicans. I hate the Democrats too. I hate them both. But but for various reasons, especially last year, despised Republicans and don't like Kevin McCarthy. Don't like any of the other people that they've gotten. Certainly the crazy, the Gates and the Boberts and all those folks, right? But this whole crazy, crazy process. First thing about that is maybe it is democracy in action. Maybe the idea is you have all these people on one side and they're not monolithic, right? The Democrats try to be monolithic, even though, remember 5-6 years ago when Trump shocked everyone and won the nomination and presidency and beat the shoo-in Hillary Clinton, and the Democratic Party was in disarray, and it was everybody was blaming. Well, the far left was turning on the center, and they couldn't get it together, and the Democrats don't know what they're doing. It's going to be, will they ever come back? If it took 4 years, and lasted into the next 2 years when a red wave that happened barely even turned pink, but. What happened the last few days was hilarious and a joke and ridiculous. But at the same time, it's kind of like, isn't that what's supposed to happen? You have people in a party, they all have their particular interests, they all represent diverse interests in their states and localities and things, and they all have the different graft that they want to put in their own pockets. And so they go to this guy who's this close to getting this position that he has craved for God knows how long, and they say, okay, you really want this? Okay, let's make this deal. And he's like, look, I've got 200 and something voters. Just get on board so we can keep attacking the Democrats and stalling anything Biden wants to do forever. And they're like, no. And he's like, yes. So what happens? Deal. I don't know why they kept bringing it to votes. I don't know why they couldn't have just said, this is going to take a little more time than we thought. Instead of rushing back every 3 hours back to the chamber, and that poor woman having to go Smith, Smolensky, Smagiggle. It was like, ugh. But eventually they worked it out. And as insane as the last few days have been, it's not going to be forgotten in a week. I mean, there'll be a ton of hard feelings and a ton of, but at the same time, it's politics. It really is. Backroom politics. I can't understand it. I wish, Matt Taibbi were covering that even more than the whole Elon Musk Twitter thing. But it's like they grappled, they tussled. In one instance, apparently there was even almost some physicality going on. And then they kind of like, okay, I'll do this for you. You do this for me. Handshake. F you, politics. Okay, I have one more vote. That's democracy, or a republic, if you will. That's the way it works. And eventually, after all this, they get together. It's what should happen in PTAs and in local politics. And it maybe not so protracted. And maybe on certain things, people should be more together in the first place. And it would be nice if the Republican didn't have a fraction, a faction, a fractional faction of it that was nuts. And that was, so far, like, let's make this into a Christian anti-abortion country. Go down. But, literally. I get that the whole thing felt silly, and the Democrats are just sitting there licking their chops going, yeah, we got Jeffries. Our ducks have been in order since day one. We know what we're doing, and we did pretty well in those midterms, didn't we? Watch out. Don't get complacent, Democrats. Luckily we didn't lose both the House and Senate, so we've got some level still of control in politics, and we have a Democratic president. So on some level, we're in half decent shape. But it was kind of fun watching the political spectrum this past week and seeing that, all right, we'll see where things go. And it boggled my mind when the far right people were starting to make fun of all people, John Boehner and Mitch McConnell, and saying, oh, they were rhinos, right? They weren't really Republicans. they were too helpful to the Democrat. They voted for the budget things. They did this. They did that. They said, well, not another McConnell. Yeah.
There's a cardinal at the bird feeder. Look.
Oh, hold on.
Look,
Is it a male?
Yes. Look.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, look at him.
He's super red. Yeah.
There's a beautiful bird by our. We have to tell the bird feeder story, of course. But look at him.
The birds are back. See?
Yeah, because the squirrels aren't. We'll tell that story in a mo. But for years, John Boehner was my bête noire. Hate McConnell because all they did was try to block everything either Obama or now Biden wanted to do. That was their whole. They didn't have any plan or anything. It was just like, don't let them do this. Don't let them spend on that. Don't let them change this. Don't let them do the college that. And it's like that was their purpose in life, to make life miserable for Democrats. Not to make life better for everybody or for America, but to hurt Democrats. And they did it. They did it perfectly well. And now Republicans certainly are saying, oh, they caved in too often. They actually saw that roads and bridges were falling apart, and they're saying, I think we'll throw some money to the Democrats. And I'm like, how could you? Anyway, let's tell the bird story, because we actually, can I show this on? This is brilliant.
Then sideways, you can't see how bright he is, but he's facing backward.
Okay, this sort of, well, kind of hard to see, but that red blur. Well, yeah, then we have more birdseed in the closet. We didn't use it all.
No.
So we have a beautiful male cardinal that has been munching on our bird feeder this morning, along with a bunch of other small birds, which is a wonderful thing. Because, so we bought this house literally 5 months ago. I keep saying literally today, but 5 months ago, we moved from New York to this lovely part of northern Maryland, and have this very nice house and especially in the summer, this gorgeous backyard. And what was lovely is that the people who sold us the house left all these little bird houses where they make their nests, and there was a hummingbird feeder. I told a story of that, and there's a bird feeder over on this side. And Joyce and I, we love animals. We love to look at the nature. We saw a bunny this morning. First bunny I've seen in about 3 weeks. Haven't seen deer in the last couple of weeks, except I was walking out in the yard yesterday, and there was just like 2 separate piles of nugget poo from deer. So they've been here. They just haven't been around when I've been looking. But birds are the best of all. So we have this bird feeder, and it's this lovely thing. It's on this big pole, and this old brass. It almost looks like an Art Deco thing from the 1920s. And they left it. They left it for us. It's lovely. And we fill it with bird seed, the cheapest. Big Lots bird seed. I've done 2 commercials for Big Lots today already. This Big Lots bird seed, and they go in, and the birds have just been enjoying it and stuff like that.
Well,
and
there's deer poop near it, so I wonder if the deer try to open. Oh, look.
Well, more birds.
There's a bird sitting right there, but I wonder if the deer opened up the tape.
You think it was? Oh no, they're not that tall.
Yes, they are.
Oh boy.
And
you think they're getting into it again?
No, the deer. I wonder. The squirrels, no. There's a bird sitting there, and they're eating from it, but we need to fill it up. Yeah. But I hope they didn't damage the tape.
Well, here's the deal. Let's tell the story. So we love this bird feeder. We love seeing the birds. And the last couple of days in Maryland, for whatever reason, since the new year, it's felt like spring. The temperatures have been in the 50s and 60s. It was beautiful. It's sunshiny. So a lot of rain too, but sunshine as well. So this gorgeous, perfect weather for animals to come out and do their thing. It's not like animals check into a hotel when it goes below 40 degrees. They're still there. We just don't see them much. And we're noticing, though, that squirrels are getting really active in and around the bird feeder. And now that squirrels realize there's food in there. And who knew that squirrels like birdseed? I don't know what squirrels like. I figured they munch what rabbits eat, like grass or... What do... I don't know if they're... meat eaters, like they look for mice and things, but apparently they do like birdseed. So they want to figure out a way, squirrels are not dumb creatures, how to get the birdseed out of this high bird feeder. How? So we see them, because the feeder is amongst bushes that we have over on the side of the house. And so they're climbing on the branches of the bushes, and they're trying to, and this took them a while, to leap from the bushes onto this pole that the feeder's on. They can't just climb up the pole. They don't have the claws of dexterity for that.
That's why they made it that way, I think.
Well, yeah, it makes total sense. But the problem is the branches are close enough to the feeder that they can leap. They figured out how to leap from the branches onto like the area of the pole where the feeder is, and it's got curvature and it can hang. So they figured that out. And I'm like, okay, fine, squirrel. You've earned a reward. You want to took your face where the birds go and get a little feed for yourself. That's okay, because when he does that, a little feed also falls out the other side of the bird feeder, and birds can get it on the ground, and another squirrel can get it.
I'd like to just dump everything out and put new seed in it, but I don't know, maybe in the garden, we could bring a garbage bag.
Well, you can throw the seed all over the seed. Yeah. But, so I'm thinking, okay, squirrel, you win. But the squirrels had a good thing going, and like humans, they became gluttonous. It wasn't enough like, oh, I can go up in the bird feeder, have a little snack. No, they want to commandeer now this thing full of food for them. And it's not like they're storing stuff for the winter. It is winter. Okay, they should have been doing this in like October. But now they get on the feeder, and we noticed that first, a couple of days ago, they were trying to lift the top, this bronze top, off, or bronze coated top off the feeder, like with his head, his teeth, and trying to basically put his whole head into the feeder. But they couldn't do that because the top was well made enough that it just kind of clonked on his head, and he couldn't. There was no way he could physically get himself like into the feeder tube itself. So they stopped doing that, but they're still crawling all over the thing, and they're trying to get to the spouts. But instead of just hanging and getting the spout like this and getting a seed or two, they're on there and tapping and crawling and like trying to push in and hanging upside down to get the feed, until the point when we noticed a day ago that they managed to smash was it glass or plastic?
It's plastic.
It's
but
plastic.
They didn't smash. They used their teeth. Like little mice can shoot through stuff.
Yeah, they gnawed.
They gnawed. Yeah.
They gnawed through the plastic of the feeder and created a giant hole. So I was wondering, how the hell, what is he doing on there? And what they're doing is sticking their whole face into a pile of bird seed and just going to town. And anyway, so we're wondering, how the hell does birds are tiny creatures around here. We don't see the ravens and or the jets. We don't see the big giant ostriches coming for food. We get finches and cardinals and the occasional blue jay, and mostly robins and doves, little sparrow things, come and dook dook dook, and that's what we want to see. That's what we want. Suddenly, the bird feeder in a day goes from 3/4 full to less than half. I mean, what is he? I mean, it's the squirrels packing it away, destroying our beautiful bird feeder. And that's when we get, much too late, we get the idea, hey, maybe we need to move the feeder away from these branches so that the squirrels can't get to it, hopefully. So we were out there yesterday and just kind of pushing like bush branches away from this thing, because we should try to pick it up and move it more towards the middle of the lawn, but we don't know how it's in there, and if it's dug in, or if there's pylons and shit. So we're just like, okay, we'll keep it where it is, but we'll move the stuff away from it. And so far, it seems to be working. We taped over the broken part of the feeder, because the other half is still okay. And so we purposely used clear packing tape. We didn't use masking tape or any of the others, because it's like we want the birds to know that there's still seed in there. We want to be able to see through the window of this sellotape that, oh yeah, there's still bird seed in there. We're welcome. So we taped that over, and we've been looking now, and the birds are still digging it. And we just saw there's a red cardinal there, and all these other little birds. And so far, the squirrels have not figured out a way. However, I don't know if you know this, but squirrels are getting very, very masterful at using drones.
Really?
Did you know this?
Of course.
They get it from not Land's End. What's that catalog you get in the
Sharper Image.
Sharper Image. Squirrels they save up. They get in the Sharper Image catalog, and they get the cheap drawings. They don't get the really expensive ones. Just enough where they can get on top of it, fly it over, and boom. So it's only a matter of time before the squirrel drones.
I think the squirrels are good.
When are good?
I think that, I really think that there must be some kind of food shortage, and that's why they're doing it. And so I hope, I could go out and look, but I hope the tape holds, and I hope that the seed is down low. I would like to I wonder if deer got in it, because
you think deer would go tap, tap, and break it?
It's very low, and the tape looks, I can't see if the tape is jumbly. I wonder if somebody knocked in the tape.
Oh, well, maybe it could also be like the thing with McCarthy and the Republicans yesterday. The deer made a deal with the squirrels. They negotiated.
But I wonder, because if the tape is all pushy, maybe the squirrel tried to push the tape.
Maybe they did try it. Well, that means the squirrel got up on it again.
If they chewed through it, I don't know.
Because when deer would come over the summer, they would go sort of in that area, but they weren't eating. They weren't going to the feeder, and they weren't eating the seed. They were eating the bushes. As of now, of course, the bushes are bare because it's I do like a bare bush.
I wonder if they pushed the tape.
Well, we'll find out when the show's over. We'll go out there and we'll take a look.
Yeah, we have to get some squirrel deterrent. I don't know what deters the squirrel.
What does deter a squirrel? Police person, saying, "Hey, squirrels, out of here!" That would sort of work.
I don't know. Maybe the pee-pee of somebody's pee-pee.
Oh, well, I pee out there all the time.
Maybe you should do that. Yeah.
But that might be attracting the squirrels.
It could be.
It could. Anyway, it's almost 9:30 in the morning. It's just really about time to bring our guest into the Daverhood with the great, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon. He will be talking to a speaker, an educator, and an educated person. She actually has a psych degree, but she is an expert at getting people ready to give speeches, to do TED Talks, to have important business meetings where they've got to get up and make the speech of their lives or their careers. She's been doing it for, as I said, like 30-something years. Rabbi Saul will be speaking to her. So let's get on his music and let's bring into the Daverhood Reesa Woolf with Rabbi Saul Solomon. Oh yeah. Die. Oh, here we go. Shalom, my friends. Shalom. Wait, please. If you're going to speak, we need to unmute. Shalom to you in the neighborhood. Reesa Woolf, how are you?
So fine. It's really great to be with you.
That's what you think. But no, it's wonderful to be with you. We are here. Let me tell you just a little bit about Reesa Woolf. She has spent 33 or more than that years coaching people on how to speak in public, how to get over stage fright, how to make the speeches of their lives and do TED Talks. She grooms people, but in a good way, not in the Harvey Weinstein and the other Epstein way. No, it's a different kind of grooming, and she has a new book out. It's called Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear. So, won't you please tell us about the book and tell us about what you do? Reesa Woolf, shalom.
I'm really, really happy to be here. You help so many people. I have for years stopped people's public speaking fear. I trained TED Talk speakers. For 20 years, I coached Fortune 500 people. And That's just what I do. And I notice currently around the world, good people are not speaking up. And I thought, all right, it's time to write a second book. And this time about overcoming public speaking fear, but I put it in a very simple format because people who are afraid of public speaking, unlike you, you always have probably gotten up and been able to speak. When people like you look at my book, they go, yeah. But when people who are afraid of public speaking look at the book, they go, oh, I didn't know this. Oh, that, oh, boy, does this relieve me? And I get all kinds of feedback of this changed my life. I've had a lifetime of speaking fear. This clarified it.
What is one example of advice that Mr. Bear gives that says, oh, what, you're worrying about this? Nah, don't, just do this. Mm-hmm. What's an example?
There are about 3 top things that cause people to have so much anxiety. First, just everyone, you need to know that when you feel physical symptoms, you're scared, your hands are shaking, your voice is shaking, that comes second after thoughts. And one of the first thoughts is, if I make a mistake, they're going to think I'm incompetent, that I don't belong here.
That happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Well, see, that's my point. People like us know that, oh, you make a mistake, you fix it and keep going. People who are fearful need to hear this. When you're with your friends and you say, we're going to meet on Wednesday, and you keep talking, or let's meet at 3 o'clock. No, let's meet at 2:30. And then you keep talking. That's a mistake and you keep talking. Do that in front of everyone because it's exactly the same. There are just a bunch of people there who will react the same as your friends. So rather than
I remember I was giving a speech at the B'nai B'rith, and they say, oh, about those 2 million Jews who were killed in the 6 million. Sorry, I just kept going. Yeah,
well, I think that tops it. As
I lost the crowd a little bit, yes.
Yeah. That's the funniest joke I've heard maybe all this year.
Thank you. Well, it's a short year. But all right, so that is true. It's sort of like just, you make an oopsie, it's an oopsie. Keep, of course you keep going. Do you ever, let me ask you before we get to some of the other things from the Bear book, and I do like Bear books, do you also coach, have you done the actor thing because of like stage fright? It's similar.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's 100% the same as you have some trash in your head. Most people say, how come I can speak so well one-to-one or to a couple of people, but I get so crazy in front of others? Because they have a myth that speaking to a group is different. So here's the suggestion for all of the people listening. When you're speaking in front of a large group, if you're comfortable one-to-one or 1 to 3, look in the group, if you're in person, at 1 to 3 people and blot out everyone else and only talk to them. And keep saying, I know I'm good one-to-one. Let me just do what I always do because you know you're good. Then find another small group and speak to them. The truth is that, let's say you were talking to one person and 5 more people came in. There's still a bunch of ones. The whole room of 1,000 people are just ones. When you speak to one, everyone will hear you better.
That is actually very simple. I personally would love a 1 to 3 situation, but my wife won't go for it. That's a little comedy right there. Now, my thing is, I've always heard, and this is like 60-year-old Toastmaster General stuff, but open with a joke. Now, I usually make a Jeffrey Epstein rape joke, but what? And it was funny. It was at the National Organization for Women. Maybe not. Yeah, didn't go over pretty well. And then I topped it with a Helen Keller joke, and boy, oh boy, I didn't get them back. But do you open with a joke, or is that, or what?
Using humor is risky. You always want to open. So here's the format. First, write your talk. Write, who am I talking to? What do I want them to do? And write the middle, the body of the talk. The close is already what you wrote, what I want them to do. The opener is just a statement, perhaps saying, today I'm going to talk about so and so and so, or like a 1-sentence opener. And it can be a story, an example, just a statement. It can be a joke, but jokes are risky. First, try out your joke with other people beforehand. If they laugh, that's first of all. Don't say, I'm thinking of trying this for a speech. Just say the thing, see if they laugh and say, I'm thinking of using that as the opener for this talk. The reason that I don't recommend, it's like the last thing I recommend is opening with a joke, is that people open with a joke and then they talk about this whole other topic. Nah, you have to write your talk first and then decide, how can I open it so it'll pull people in and introduce my topic?
Now, what happens, the producer of this program, Dave, he teaches English at university stuff. He's part-time. There's nothing to be impressed about. You have a PhD. He does not. But here's the deal. He knows there are times when he's on a topic and he knows he's boring the crap out of people. He knows his stuff. It's not like he is an idiot, but it's not like he's a complete idiot. So he's doing it, and he literally, while he's standing there, knows, I've lost them. I have to get through this material. I know what I'm talking about, but how do you stop that?
There are two antidotes. The first is, how do you make boring stuff interesting? Look through, if you talk, a lot of people say the same thing all the time, to different groups. Think of the boring part and think, how can I explain this by introducing it with an example or a story or a quotation first? And then speak only like on an 8th grade level. If you watch television, everything's on an 8th grade level. Don't be sophisticated and smart. And also, just give them what they need to know. So that's the first thing, is making it less boring.
By the way, there's no problem in Dave being sophisticated and smart. That has never happened. Will never happen. Just so he's fine on that one. That's no problem. Yes.
And yeah, but the second thing is, when you notice people that you've lost people, the mistake people make is they go, oh, I guess they didn't understand it. And they repeat the same boring stuff. So right away, as soon as you have a thought, oh, I think I'm missing something, I think I'm losing them, stop and ask a question. Hi, I'm going to stop here for just a second. And if you're on Zoom, look at the camera. But if I'm in person, hi, I'm going to stop here for a second. I want to be sure this is valuable to you. What questions do you have? So you stop and check in, and then they might say, well, really, we came here for this, or you're telling us way too much. So you adjust. You're the chameleon, because the whole purpose of standing in front of people is you have ideas in your head that you want to put into their head. Do it in the way that works for their brain, not for yours.
And there's no shame in not only not making a mistake or making a mistake, but there's also no shame in sort of doing a reboot or a recheck and saying, you know what, I want to make sure we're all on board here. Is this going? Let's do, I'll keep going, all right, or I'll pivot.
That's it. You just adjust. So people know, you stated why they should come and listen to you. So make sure in your writing that you get to the point right away. And you can, if people have said to you repeatedly, get to the point, or what's the punchline here, it means you need to edit your stuff out. And my suggestion is, find a friend who you admire how that person is succinct and concise, ask them to teach you. Or actually, Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear addresses exactly that. It has 45 tips on how to overcome speaking fear. And most importantly, it teaches you how to be an excellent public speaker. Most people who are fearful really never learned how to do it.
Can I ask, have you ever yourself given a TED Talk? Have you done TED Talks on things?
I have coached people in TED Talks. My experience is this. I've trained people for 20 years, Fortune 500 people, in public speaking. And I thought, gee, I'm so good at this seminar stuff. I'm going to be a keynote speaker. I did that. But this is what I noticed. I have an even better skill that I even like more than speaking on stages. And that is, I can make anyone in the room able to speak on stages. So that's what I do full time. And that's what I teach in the book. So anyone reading this book will end up being a confident public speaker. That is a sure thing.
Well, let me ask you, what is the greatest speech that you ever saw? It could be either a TED Talk, or it could be a president, or it could be anything that was like, whoa.
I would say to watch TED Talks. And here's why. You notice how TED Talks, they were 18 minutes. Now they're down to 11 minutes. They've adjusted. Do you notice that you watch the whole thing and you're not bored? Find TED Talk speakers. So I know who I like, but I want the people listening and watching. Find TED Talk speakers that you like and outline first their talk. So you see how minimal and how on point they are. They don't ramble off on tangents, or they don't go off. Secondly, they use their voice in an interesting way. They act out the meaning. And the last thing is their body language matches what they're saying. All those things contribute. So find some TED Talk speakers that you like and pretend you are them when you're speaking at work.
I love this idea that body language is a very important thing when you're talking. So, sometimes it's distracting, and they shouldn't do this. You want to hear what the person's saying. And, and,
Yes.
and that just made me lose my next question. What the hell was I going to ask? Oh, how much rehearsal? I mean, you don't want to memorize, or maybe you do, but no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't want to.
No, please.
So how much is like a real good amount of, you know what you're saying, you've got it all mapped out. How many times should you do it to get it?
First of all, make sure that you bring notes in. A big mistake that people who are fearful is they don't come in with notes. They go, oh, I know what I'm going to say. And every time they speak in front of others, when all eyes are on them, they're giving impromptu and spontaneous speeches. Even 5 minutes before you show up, take a sticky, put a few bullets on it. If you're on Zoom, take the sticky and paste it next to the camera, and you look brilliant. If you're in person, just put it in front of you or use speaker's notes, but don't write out your notes. That's like saying, I think I'll make sure that I lose my place when I'm speaking to people.
So really keep it like bullet, what do they call talking point kind of. Can I ask, what is on that sticky you just showed, because you got ready for this? What's on there? What did you literally write on your sticky?
Oh, I wrote nothing. This is to call my doctor. I didn't write notes for this. I'm a huge expert in public speaking. Pretty much whatever you ask me, I'm going to be able to tell you.
Listen, we're two Jews talking. What are you calling your doctor about? What, are you okay? Is everything all right?
But I do want to say that there are times that, like just about 2 months ago, I had to call someone and introduce myself, and it was someone important. I didn't want to wing it. And even though that is second nature to me, I put bullets when I called that person. Don't be foolish. Don't depend on memory. Oh, and as far as memorization goes, write a short opener and a short close. I only memorize the opener and close so I can make eye contact during that. For the rest of the time, look at your bullet, give that information. Look at the next bullet, give that information. That's how you become a good speaker.
We're talking, by the way, with Reesa Woolf, who is quite obviously a very good speaker. Gotta ask, because of the name, any relation at all, even distantly, to Leonard or Virginia Woolf, or do you know? Or
well, I think that they could be distant relatives, but mostly that wasn't our name forever.
Oh, was it Wolfowitz back in the?
It was Wolfowitz from like Lithuania. I asked my uncle once, was our family from Latvia or Lithuania? He said, they kept changing the borders.
Not a joke. Now, Dave, the producer of this program, was it Russia one day? Was it Poland the other day? Russia
That's it.
Somewhere. It's like, what the hell? So it's either for you, Lithuania,
Lithuania or Latvia.
Latvia. One of the.
Yeah.
So
can I tell you one? What can I tell you? Since this is an unusual podcast, can I tell you one story about my family in the old days?
Yes.
In the old country, their grandfather lived, in the little shtetl, and he spoke German. And the prince of the area would send his carriage, pick up the grandfather, take him to the castle. He taught their daughters German, and on Friday they'd bring him back. And one time he was at the door of the castle, the back door, and they opened the door and they started to beat him. And she says, no, that's our Jew.
That's our Jew. I love, because I was going to say, were they more gentle with the family during the pogroms? We're like, hey,
no.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I have some blood in me that is not fully ours. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? Whoa! Oh, huh? Okay. Wait.
Pogroms.
No, I didn't realize the pogroms were not just. They were. Ugh. Really?
Yeah. When I was in Russia, this woman looked at me and she said, "Polsky," and I thought, yeah, I look Polish, but because it's not because I'm Jewish, that's for sure.
Well, no, Dave was in Russia many, many years ago, and he walked down the streets of St. Petersburg, and people would start talking Russian to him. And I said, oh,
oh, wow, that is really cool. But the point is, in fact, let's bring up, as long as we're going to do an odd bridge here, people who speak English as a second language. Now, my grandparents were immigrants. I hope somebody was nice to them. Here's the biggest thing that people can do when they speak English as a second language. If anyone has said to you in the last 6 months, pardon me, what did you say? Would you speak slower? Would you speak louder? Speak loud, but speak slowly. And the most important thing is to say each word completely. Many people, when they come from other towns, talk like I do. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and in Baltimore, we never said any final consonant. We just talk like this. And when I was 12 years old, these kids came down from another city that belonged in a club, and they spoke differently. And I went, oh, you can choose how you speak. So many people who are fluent in English don't realize that it's the clear articulation that makes people interested. People don't mind your accent when it's charming. They just don't want it when it's distracting. And you can fix that like in 1 second.
Now, you mentioned Maryland, because this show is now coming from lovely Maryland. You you weren't raised here, but you went to the university there.
I went to Forest Park High School, and I graduated from University of Maryland as one of the outstanding college senior leaders. I was a big leader in college.
What does that even mean? You were on debate teams? What does a leader in college mean?
It means that I was a student leader. Like I was on, like there was the president of the fraternities, president of the sororities. I was the president of all the dorms. But you know what? Most of us women student leaders were speech therapy majors, because it's true what they say. And that is we all should have gone to law school and business school, but that's just how it was. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience. I really just expanded my interests about, oh my heavens, life is interesting. Let me go to theater. Let me go to this. I really expanded. And then from there, I evolved into this. It turns out that my speech therapy background is now helpful, because I would say a third of my clients are people who speak English as a second language and want to move up, and they're completely qualified, but they sense that their accent is holding them back.
Talking in an office meeting or a conference or that got, that's the one step that they need to make to be clear. But I do want to hear a little bit more about growing up in Maryland, what it was like back then, what the university area was like back then. Any memories?
Okay. So,
memories. Yeah.
I can tell you a lot of Maryland memories, and that is that I lived in the small community, our community, and it was very enmeshed. My father and uncle, actually most of my family, were leaders in that community. So when I would meet anyone, they would say, oh, are you so-and-so's daughter? Or are you related to them? Because they were active. They were really significant people there. That's one of the reasons I had to move away. I needed to have people just see me for me and not as someone's.
Where are you based out of now? What state? Where are you?
Oh, I live in Austin, Texas, but I lived in Honolulu and San Francisco. It's been a really exciting life.
Wow. Do you have, none of my business if you don't want to say, but married, kids, any of that sort of life stuff?
You know, when I grew up, I had a wonderful aunt who really saw who I was way before I saw who I was. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be an aunt. And in fact, not only am I an aunt to my nephews and their kids, but every kid that comes my way, I'm like the Auntie Mame for them. And it's been a very, very, very pleasing life. It was by choice, and it was the right choice for me.
Oh, Mademoiselle McGlick. So are you still, I mean, it's Austin, Texas, so it's Texas, so it is, but there's some art and culture there, a little bit. So do you go to museums, theaters, things like this? What's life like in Austin these days?
Well, Austin is the music capital, and it still has fabulous music. When I came here and I went to the venue of Austin City Limits, I was like, oh my gosh, I've watched this for years, and here I am in the real place. Very, very exciting. I lived in New Jersey before I moved here, and I went into Manhattan and went to Broadway a lot and went to theaters a lot. Plus, I traveled this was another thing that was interesting, a choice that I made. When I was in college first year, I took a psychology course, and when they showed me Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and they talked about self-actualization, like actually looking at what are your favorite skills to do and your best skills, your most natural skills, and how can you make money from that? And I thought, well, that's a good idea. And I pretty much followed that path all my life. In fact, I am completely doing what I love right now. And so what I did was, at that point, when I graduated from college and I realized, oh, I like to travel, I thought, how can I travel the world and have someone else pay for it? So for 25 years, I was the top seminar leader at the largest and the oldest management seminar company. And I traveled the world. I've been to the pyramids. I've been to Peru. I've been all over the US.
Have you been to Israel?
Sorry?
Have you been to Israel?
Oh, yeah.
Israel.
When I
Oh.
went to Israel, I imagine other people have had this sensation. I was there for about a day and a half, and it dawned on me, everyone here is Jewish. I'm not I never realized how much I was aware of. I don't even know how to put it into words. All I know is there was a feeling that came over me to realize that I was safe and at home and with mishpucha. I ask people, I ask African Americans, when you've gone back to where, they've done their ancestor thing, when you've gone back to that town, how did it feel? And they had the same sensation. And then I say to them, so when you met your family members, did you look like them? Did you have and often they say, yeah, I really look like I belong.
This feeling that you're talking about, I had it at a Walmart in Weehawken, New Jersey. I don't know why. It was in the appliance thing, and there were a couple of Jews there, and we realized we're looking at tools. And then I look at them, they look at, we're Jews, we don't use tools, we don't know how to do this. And it was just this moment of like, I'm with Lantzman. I know my people, but so in your travel, I love hearing stories about world travel. Do you have any amazing, funny, or like, whoa, anecdotes about not just Israel, but wherever you've been?
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites was I was in Russia early. It was when it had just transferred over, and what was the guy with the thing on his head?
Gorbachev, he just died.
Gorbachev. So Gorbachev, I think, had just come in, but there was a lot, that whole White House, it was a lot of things happening and no one was traveling to Russia. I saw this ad for this stupidly cheap trip to Russia. I said, is this for real? They said, yeah, we have to do it. The leader of our group had also been the translator and the leader for the last president of the United States. So I went, I guess I'm getting a pretty good tour here. But the point of the story is, when I went to the Kremlin Museum and I saw Fabergé eggs for the first time, I thought, first of all, my nose was against it and the next leader pushed me away. But I thought, I think there are about 52, 53 Fabergé eggs. I think I'll make it a quest to see all of them. And so so this ties into my work. So for example, when I would take a gig in Virginia, there was a museum in Virginia that had 4 Fabergé eggs. So I continued to go there. I like teaching the class too, but I went the day before and visited those Fabergé eggs. Baltimore, at the Walters, they have 2 Fabergé eggs.
I didn't even know. Oh my gosh, that's almost like an omelet. This is exciting.
You are so funny. Go on.
but how many of the 23 or however many you say have you seen?
Oh, I've seen most of them, because one time I was in Cleveland working, and at their museum, why did I take the gig? Because the museum had a gathering of as many Fabergé eggs, even from private collections. And so I saw the remainder of them. I checked off almost everyone that was available. And in fact, I'm lucky, because in Manhattan, they used to have at the Forbes collection 10 eggs, but now they're in Russia. So I used to visit those a lot. So this is how I've lived my life. I go, oh, that looks interesting. And then I pursue that. Or that looks like fun. I'd like to learn that. And I'd sign up for that class. I've done that hundreds of times.
I've got to tell you, for our 10th anniversary, I gave my dear wife, Miriam Libby, a vibrating Fabergé egg. It worked for a while. It was, she enjoyed it. Yeah.
Variations on the theme.
Basically, yes. Basically, that's what I do. Now, I want to remind people, though, we're talking with Reesa Woolf. You can get her book, Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear, and all the usual places you can get books, or from her, I had it down somewhere, your website.
Well, they can just go to Amazon. Just go to Amazon.
Well, ConfidentSpeaking.com is also your thing if they want to hire you as a coach. ConfidentSpeaking.com, because you also have another book, and it's called Executive Speaking in a Weekend. So that was an earlier book, yes?
I wrote that 10 years ago. And the reason I wrote in a weekend is that I work really fast with people, and I wrote this in the same way. It's condensed, short, get to the point. There's just no fluff in any of my books, but the one that really takes all of that book and expands it. I know that. So I wrote Mr. Bear in a parable, kind of like, who moved my cheese. But I don't like to learn things from reading a story. It's just not my style. So what I did was I wrote the story, but in every chapter, I wrote summary, and it has bullet points, which is the way I like to learn. But I even separated out Mr. Bear speaks without fear, and every speaking tip to overcome fear of public speaking is separate. And as I said, there are 45 tips. When someone reads this book, they will, one, become a much better public speaker and have a better career, but also they won't hesitate to raise their hand at a meeting. They won't hesitate to raise their hand at an event.
Speaking of speaking, I also want to ask you, do you have any guidance or suggestions? Because most people, when they're giving speeches now, maybe not a TED Talk, they're also dealing with slides or PowerPoint or Keynote. This is a program that does these things. Do you have any good suggestions for speakers in using PowerPoint slides?
Mm-hmm. I like PowerPoint slides to not have your script written out. When I show up and someone has their whole talk on the screen, even in bullets, but they have full sentences, I think, why am I here? Just send me your PowerPoint. Instead, I suggest that your screens have just the concept, and then you're going to talk about it. You're going to give the bullets underneath it, or you could have the bullets build one at a time. The point is, you want to first write your talk and make it really great. Add in the little stories and examples and things like that kind of make it rich. Add the voice, add the body language. After all of that, think, people learn better with PowerPoint. It's only then, when the talk stands on its own already, that you add screens, and the screens to just have the point you're talking about, just like a bullet and a couple of words, and then the attention goes back to you.
This makes sense. Now, we've been paying attention to Reesa Woolf. Please, please, please get her books. It's Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear, and also Executive Speaking in a Weekend. I don't know what to say. What do you do?
No. The first book isn't even available anymore. It's Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear, the easiest way to learn the hardest subject, public speaking.
Wow, the easiest way to learn the hard. Well, you certainly make it seem easy, which is part of the point. And just let me ask you, what, since we just came off New Year's, what are you hoping for this year in terms of your life and your career? Going anywhere special, or just doing what you do, or maybe taking more me time? What?
I kind of have a backwards life. I retired first. I pretty much first had my fun life, and I took work that wouldn't impose itself on my fun. And it just happened that what I was good at was teaching and training. So I've done that pretty much since my 20s. And then it evolved into training public speaking. And I also traveled for 25 years. I traveled on someone else's dime for 25 years. I've done everything on my bucket list. So now
everything. You tried the electric egg?
I didn't know about that.
Oh, really?
What I'm doing now,
you've skydove.
That wasn't on my bucket list.
So
but my bucket list was to see the Fabergé eggs. My bucket list was to go the places that I wanted to go. And I've met fabulous, interesting people. But what I wanted to say, because you said, what are my New Year's goals? This is what I noticed. Because when I looked at the world events and I went, good people are not speaking up, because there's more good people than the goofballs who are currently taking over, kind of like the Renaissance, and then there's the Dark Ages, Renaissance, Dark Ages. So I see that we're kind of falling from grace. And so I thought, I know how to help those people who are fearful around the world speak well. This book will be in Spanish and various languages. My goal is that this becomes a worldwide resource for people, and that good people around the world are able to find and use their voice. That is why I wrote the book.
And by the way, not so good people like me. But I do, and I've got to bring Dave's back in here to do the quiz, and then we have some guests coming in. So you're staying. I'm on.
Yes.
But here's I don't know if you saw Bill Maher a few weeks ago, where he said Bill Maher, the guy
Oh
from
no, I watch him all the time.
right. So he had this thing just after the midterm elections, where he said, this was a reminder that America can still be kind of normal. It's not the crazy 10% on the left and not the crazy 10%. There's like 80% that just, we don't hear from them. And he had this marvelous metaphor of, it's like we're letting the crying baby fly the plane.
Yes. Oh, yes, completely. And
Yeah.
all of that ties into when I got the inspiration for, I know how to help those quiet people speak up. That is literally what got me. Who would write a book if they didn't feel an urge and a mission? Trust me, it's real hard to write a book, especially to write a book that is precise. I know how to do it, and I wrote it in a way that works for the dyslexic mind, the ESL, English as a second language, and to anyone who admires other speakers and think, gee, I wish I could speak like that. This book will help you do that. It's a guaranteed sure thing. If you do this book, you will be confident public speaker, and you will really be able to capture and hold attention.
And I've got to say, in my synagogue, we even have a special book for the dyslexic people. Instead of the Torah, we have a Horat. So it's very helpful to them, and they read it. They start from the middle, they go left, they go right. It works. It works. We have been talking with Reesa Woolf here in the Daverhood with me, Rabbi Sal Solomon. I want to wish you a most Shana Tova Tikatevu. I don't know what the last word means, but Tikatevu double, because you've just been wonderful. But as I said, you are staying, I am going, Dave is coming. Let's hear some delightful Hasidic music. No, that's not the thing I wanted to bring up. See, I made a mistake. I'm just continuing. This is how. Oh!
You are the role model for others.
I am, God damn it. I wish the police would feel the same way. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away. We've got the Today, Yesterday quiz coming with Leslie Hoban, Blake, Vicki Quade, and Reesa Woolf. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sal Solomon, talking with our delightful friend of the Daverhood, Reesa Woolf, and also joining us momentarily in the Daverhood is our great friend from Chicago. Of course, she is Vicki Quade. Vicki is the co-creator of Late Night Catechism, which has been running, speaking of public speaking, for 20-something years. She's also doing, are you going back to 8th grade nun, or are you doing Bible bingo?
I am. I'm going to be doing Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun and Late Night Catechism. We got the two running at the same time.
At the Greenhouse in Chicago. Let me make an introduction then. This is Vicki Quade talking to Reesa Woolf, who is an expert and coach in public speaking. I don't know if you were listening. Usually,
I was listening a little bit, yes.
Listening to the show. Do you have any questions while we wait for Leslie for Reesa, or suggestions, or vice versa?
Oh, for public speaking? It's really scary to get started, as you know. My first public speaking, I was an early teen, 13 or so, and my parents were involved in the American Legion, and they used to let the teens give a little introduction or, a little something small. I remember that. I remember thinking, oh my God, keep your face up. Keep your eyes up. It was all that stuff. Don't look down. Don't cover your face. All the basics.
Please, for years, nose picking. I was like, not do that while I'm in the middle of giving a speech and stuff, especially the eating part, because that would turn off all the women in the audience. The men would be like, yeah, I get it. It tastes great. But for me, yeah. Anyway.
It's early in the morning.
Oh, sorry, she's an hour earlier. She's out there in Chicago. And actually, Austin, you're also. It's only what, 9?
I'm in the Chicago time zone.
Oh, well, look,
Mhm,
I'm stalling just a little bit because we're waiting and hoping for
mhm.
Leslie Hoban Blake. She is a theater critic, former actress, and she's supposed to be with us audio only. She has been,
Oh,
as
mm,
she has been open about on the show, she's been battling for a month and a half shingles that has just been
Ooh, oh,
yeah.
I feel so bad for her.
have you ever have either of I had it when I was
I've
a
had
kid. It was
shingles.
nothing. It was like what?
Mm-mm.
Oh
It,
no, I had shingles.
how bad was it? I mean,
Um, I was young. I was 34, something like that. I had my son David he'd be well for a week and sick for a week, and then he'd be well for like 2 weeks and then sick for 2 weeks, and my immune system just broke down.
oh yeah,
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
and I woke up one morning and I realized I had what looked like a little pock on my nose, just one little pock. And
Hmm.
what happened is it was inside my nose, down my throat. And
Oh,
I went to take a shower and I collapsed in the shower. And
what a story.
went to the emergency room, and the doctor had brought in all these medical students because they had not seen somebody my age being so young with shingles.
and you were
So
pockmarked at that point. So yeah.
one little pock which did not stay.
Well, I think, oh man, because I had, I just had lovely things to talk about on a Saturday morning, but
You know.
I just had some little like burny bumps under my armpit, and it was
What?
kind of hurt to move my arm. And we put some salve on it. It was like a week and a half. It was uncomfortable as
Wow.
hell, but it wasn't what you went through, thank God, and it wasn't what apparently Leslie's been
Mhm.
dealing with.
It can
So
be bad. And the doctor said, "Oh, the good thing is it'll never come back once you have it on one." It came back. It came back
it
about
came back in your nose, and it did. No,
5 years later. I had a very, very mild. I went to the doctor and said, I'm not feeling very good, and I have this. And he said, "Well, that's that shingles again." But so I did get it
Wow.
twice.
well,
A very, very
and
mild case.
have you ever had, I don't know why we're talking about that, but Marisa, have you ever had shingles or aluminum
No,
sickness?
no, early on, first of all, I had German measles and also I
Chicken
got
pox.
the vaccine, but I wanted to bring up something that Vicki said when she was 13 and she began speaking and she thought to herself, ooh, I better look up. But just like now, we have to look at the Zoom
Right.
camera and all of that. I'll tell you something else if it's okay with you to add something else
Sure.
about people
Yeah,
who fear
please.
public speaking. All humans on earth are nervous the first 5 minutes when they begin speaking. I'm a
Yeah.
very expensively paid keynote speaker at conventions. Dave, also, anyone who speaks, we're normally nervous the first 5 minutes. So what most
Sure.
of us do is we rehearse the first 5 minutes. So we imitate ourselves when we're confident. After 5 minutes, when you're confident, select copy, paste that, and just act that way. People who are fearful think in the first 5 minutes, oh, I'm anxious. I wish it would stop. And then they accelerate it and they don't realize, no, that's normal. And you can plan for it. I
Yeah.
said, memorize the opener and then you look at your notes to deliver. Most people say after 5 minutes, I feel better and I can do it. But even if you don't, you never actually have to feel confident. You only have to look it.
Well, you
And
fake it till you make
and you have to feel out your audience. That's the big thing.
Oh,
You
I've
have
been
to
arrested
know
for that.
within
Yeah.
the 5 or 10 minutes where your audience is with you. Are they
And
with you? Are they laughing? Are they are they an easygoing audience, or are they sitting there like this?
Or as
So
Joyce
and
said,
then
are they drunk? Because you've been dealing with that, over the holidays. You had
oh,
some.
yeah,
I deal with
some
drunks. Yes, I do.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, with
And
it,
Vicki, how do you adjust when you see that the audience
You
is
have
or
to
is
adjust. You do. When they're
oh,
not with you, you have to engage them even more. You have to get them to break. You have to break through to somebody to let the rest of them know. Oh, this I see. I can relax. I can enjoy this.
and
So
then eventually, have you ever had a show where it just never, you couldn't wait for it to be over, and no
yes.
matter what the hell you did, yeah, yeah. Oh, you've had
yeah.
speeches too.
So I have to tell you that if anyone listening, if you give, let's say that you teach the same thing over and over, you're someone who orients people to your new product or something, you do the same thing and you know where the jokes are, where you're going to get the laughs. The way to keep it fresh, first of all, is to help that person really get it and say that point the best you can. So it's not a rote thing. You know how sometimes people say, I'm so bored of my own stuff. Don't let it be boring. Have the intention of I'm here to help them. But the second thing is audiences react differently. Salespeople in the audience will fall over there and fall off their chairs laughing at you. Tech people love it equally. but there will be hardly any reaction. They're the ones who come up at the end and go, this was so great. We really needed to hear this.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, so we have an emergency squirrel break.
Go ahead.
Vicki, you were listening earlier in the show.
Look at him.
I don't know that we apparently have a squirrel that has managed to get onto our broken bird feeder, even though we tried moving it away from the. Joyce is banging on the window. Joyce is my wife, by the way. Banging on the window to get this.
Look at him.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Look at him. He's breaking the tape.
He's chewing
Look
through
at
the
him.
tape.
Look at him. Fuba.
Yeah.
I wish I had the persistence of squirrels, I will tell you.
Oh, well, yeah. There was a whole story this morning about squirrels like commandeering in and breaking our bird feeder and are trying to outwit them. But no, you can't. Squirrels are. I made the comment yesterday to my wife, like, after the nuclear holocaust, humans will be gone. Squirrels and roaches, they'll figure out a way. They'll be there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, you asked that question about, have you ever had an audience?
Oh,
I got hired just to do about 45 minutes of very light, kind of fun entertainment for a group of about 150 women executives. This was an executive, and they wanted a woman entertainer. They wanted some fun stuff. Okay. So they were all drinking at the bar, and then they were like, okay, come on, sit down. And they actually had it set up as theater seating in the next room. So it's nice. And I started and I realized that there were tables of women who were just talking to each other loudly, like I wasn't even there. After 15 minutes, 20 minutes even, I couldn't take it any longer. They just would not be quiet. I finally said, excuse me, if you would rather be drinking with your friends out at the bar, please leave right now. And about 40% of the audience got up and left.
Oh my
And the
God.
rest of them, that's fine. I didn't care. The rest of them, I said, now would you guys all, you ladies all move up?
Mhm.
And they all moved up, and I did about another half an hour, and they loved it. Those people loved it.
Of course they were
Loved
just
it.
waiting for somebody to get the annoyances out of the room too. I mean, they were grateful to you, or if it hadn't been you, they might have gotten an usher or whatever they would have had there.
They were just drunken, and those women were drunken women who just wanted to go out and drink some more.
Yeah.
And afterwards, when I was, because I had worn a different outfit to perform on stage, I was changing back to my casual, let's get out of here outfit. And the women who booked me brought in the biggest glass of bourbon. You might need this. And I said, it wasn't that bad, but thank you.
But no, that's pretty kind and pretty cool. No, but you realize, because you have to make that, you have to kind of make that decision of like, do I stop the show and deal, or do I kind of write, or maybe they will be quiet for a bit, and after a while,
When you realize it's not happening, you know what, ladies, just leave.
Yeah.
You're ruining it for the ones who want to be here.
Exactly.
So, well, by the way, Joyce, we have an update. We have a squirrel update. There's a bird feeder called Pesky Squirrel Be Gone Bird Feeder. Is that the name of the bird feeder?
It's called Pesky Pet Squirrel Stumper Wild Bird Feeder.
Squirrel Stumper Bird Feeder. This is going to work, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, wonderful stories. Great to have Reesa Woolf and Vicki Quade in the Daverhood. I have not heard back from Leslie. I've been texting and we've been waiting.
But this is fun.
Yeah,
Three of us are good.
We'll do the quiz, but we're going to reshape it for 2 people instead of 3. And if Leslie comes, that'd be fantastic. If not, I appreciate your indulgence, and we'll just do it the way we'll do it. So, Reesa, have you watched an episode of the show? Do you know how the Today Yesterday quiz works?
No, I don't, and I have a little trepidation having met you now.
Having met me, you should have tremendous trepidation. But here's the deal: it's not so terrible. What it is, it's a trivia quiz. We'll have 6 questions plus a tiebreaker, and each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you don't get it right, then your other contestant has the shot of stealing the question and getting those 2 points instead. But it's all in fun. There's no prizes, there's no nothing, and you kind of get to Vicki. I just saw your picture there. Thank you. So it's just all so people think aloud, and sometimes they even accidentally almost give away the answer to the other person. It's all just about the fun and the thought process of it, and don't even expect to get any points because some of the questions are so
That's
ridiculous.
actually where I'm coming from. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm gonna know anything. But go
But-
on, please.
Oh, yeah, please. So the one thing I do need you to do kindly, Reesa, since you're brand new in the Daverhood, is could you kindly think of a number between 1 and 6, and then tell me what it is.
4.
4. Reesa with a big old 4, and Vicki, what would your
2.
2? Vicki with a big old number 2. And you know how painful those can be. I'm going to roll a die. Well, what I'm doing, Reesa, is I'm rolling a digital die. So there just came up a number 6,
Oh.
and we just had a 1. This goes even longer when we have only 2 people, and another 6. Talk amongst yourselves. 1. Oh man. 5, my favorite number. Yeah, get yourself a beverage. 2. Okay, Vicki, would you like to be first or second in the questioning?
I'll do first.
Vicki going first. That means, so Reesa, would you like to go second? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Reesa will go second in our quiz. Vicki, are you ready? Oh, and the deal is, some but not all of these questions have to do with things that happened in history on January 7th, whether it was 10 years ago, 100 years ago, and so forth. And some have nothing to do with that at all, and some are current events. So it's a whole mishmash in the today, yesterday quiz. Okay, Vicki, you ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. The year was 1714. Henry Mill, an Englishman, patents his invention, the typewriter, though it will take 150 more years and other inventors to bring the actual machine to fruition. So which of these is false about typewriters?
Okay.
A, using standard QWERTY typing technique, the longest word you can type using alternating hands on every letter is skeptic. B, early designs of typewriter keys were modeled after piano keys. C, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was the first novel submitted to a publisher by a typewriter. Or D, using standard QWERTY typing technique, the longest word you can type using only your left hand is stewardesses.
Oh, that's interesting. And one is false.
One of these is false. The other 3 are true.
I hate to ask you to do this. Could you do them one more time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I spent so long writing these damn things. I love having to read them again. Here we go. So yes,
I've got a lot of chattering in my ear, so
yes. Well, those squirrels are nuts. 1714. The typewriter, or an early prototype, was patented today. Which of these is false about typewriters in general? A, using the QWERTY typing technique, the longest word you can type using alternating hands on every letter is skeptic. Or B, early designs of typewriter keys were modeled after piano keys. C, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was the first novel submitted to a publisher via typewriter. Or D, using standard QWERTY typing technique, the longest word you can type using only your left hand is stewardesses.
Boy, those are good ones. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to say that's false.
You're going to say that it is not true, that, skeptic is the longest word you can type on a typewriter where each letter alternate hands. Is that correct, Vicki?
Yes.
Probably.
Oh, Reesa, it's probably wrong.
Well, let's see. I have the magic music maker here.
I have the ability to always get them wrong.
Well, Vicki, you shouldn't be so skeptical because you have 2 points on the board.
Oh, look at that.
That is correct. Apparently,
That's because my friend is helping me.
well, guess what? The word that is even longer is skepticism.
Oh,
Skepticism is one. But isn't it cool that stewardesses you can just type just like this?
yeah. Well, I when you said that, I looked down and I thought, okay, but then you try to think, what else can you type? But yeah.
Right. Yeah, so well done,
And the
Vicki.
piano keys make sense because,
Why
it would
not?
be,
It goes boom, 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 touch the, yeah. So, well done, Vicki. But Reesa, hey, just getting started. This is round one of the today, yesterday quiz. I have not heard, still haven't heard back from Liz. So
Leslie, come on, Leslie.
she'll usually get here just in time to like scoop in, get, come in, do the third slot, and then win the game. But let's see. Let's see. Okay. Reesa, here's a different kind of question for you. This is called,
Three news.
yes, three clues in the news. Three
Okay.
clues in the news. And the way this works is I'm going to give you three separate words that are not connected to each other. But each of those words is connected or can be connected to another word, forming a typical phrase. They're all connected in some way. You have to figure out what word that we're looking for that each word is connected to. And that word has to do with something in the news over the past
Okay.
week or so. I'll give you an example that isn't really news related, but for an example, if you do spider shines pox, what word goes with all of those? So it could be blank word or word blanks. Spider shines pox. So you would think of like blank spider or spider blank shines or blank.
I'm not good at this kind of thing. I have dyslexia.
Oh, you really
Give,
don't?
give those questions to Vicki. I'll take the ones about typewriters.
So, no, it doesn't work like that. This is yours first. So, well, but that's the word that
Okay, let's give it a shot.
yeah. Well, the word we're looking for just the example
Uh-huh.
is monkey. Monkey shines, spider monkey, monkeypox. So all those three words connect to the word monkey. So
Yeah,
blank.
I understand, and it's a really good game. I have low expectations of myself, but please try.
We'll work with you, Reesa. We'll help you.
That, Leslie, what is that? I'm sorry, Vicki, what is that behind you? I can't make out.
It's a woman wearing a squirrel hat.
Oh. Now I see.
I thought my head might kind of fit in there a little bit. So it's me wearing a squirrel hat.
Actually, you look like Björk on the cover of that album of hers, the homogenic thing. But all right. So here you go, with low expectations. Here, but
I'm giving Joyce a fashion suggestion.
oh, absolutely. Reesa, your three clues are gates, duck, play.
Pigeon?
Pigeon. Is that your
And something in the news.
Oh, something in the news. Gates, duck, clay.
play? Play. Yeah.
Oh, play.
Play.
I thought it was clay. All right. Duck, play. No idea.
When you have no idea, one thing that you can do is promote your book or your website instead and have that as your answer. So it kind of works its way into the people's brains. So,
are you saying that Mr. Bear speaks without fear, the easiest way to learn the hardest subject, public speaking? It guarantees that you will get over public speaking fear. Is that the book you were saying I should talk about?
it might very well be. Yes, it's that one. And is that your final answer?
It is. It's on Amazon and it's on Kindle.
So there we go. By the way, it is the right answer for you, the wrong answer for the quiz. So Vicki Quade.
Bill.
Sorry?
Bill.
Oh, that's good. Duck Bill, Play Bill, and Bill Gates.
Well, did you get it instantly, Vicki? Was it like what?
Yeah.
What did
You said Gates, and I went Bill, and then you went Duck, and I went Bill.
Sometimes you get it instantly. That's the thing. You either
something about Congress.
actually no. The Bill thing is unfortunate. It's about that Buffalo Bill, Damar Hamlin, who was
the poor guy. But getting better. Do you think he'll ever play again?
He can't even play chess again.
Once he's rehabbed, do you think? I just think this is it. He's only 20 something, right? He's young.
Yeah, well, he's a football player. I'm sure his chest is concave at the moment, or whatever.
It's like the guys concussion, they shouldn't play.
I mean, he should actually have doctor supervision playing backgammon when he's 40, and he'll have brain whatever trauma, like all the football players will by his 50s
Yeah.
anyway. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, he's made his millions. He'll be he can recover for years and years.
Poor thing.
And,
Really, so scary. You can't imagine the family and everyone watching that.
oh well, yeah.
They said he was dead twice, that they brought him back on the field, and then they had to bring him back in the emergency room once he got him there.
Creeps.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
They
It
died
was just
twice.
heart. It was like the cardiac
No,
stopped.
but
and
you're brain dead. When your heart stops, you're dead.
is that true?
No, he's talking. They say that there's no neurological issues. Apparently, he's doing.
I'll tell you
surprisingly
one
well.
thing. I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing. He would be as good as me on these little quizzes.
I don't know that, Reesa. I think he's a smart boy.
Okay,
I'm
let's
just-
get to the next one.
All
Let's get to the
right,
next one.
yeah, here we go. Next up, now this question goes directly to Vicki Quade, who, by the way, has 4 points on the board, but that doesn't mean you're
That means nothing, Reesa. Believe
Now,
me.
Reesa.
Okay. No. This goes to me.
I'm sorry, Vicki, this goes to you. Vicki, the year was 1894.
Oh, when this hat was invented.
Exactly, yes. Today in movie history, cameraman William L.K. Dixon of the Thomas Edison Company captures Fred Ott's sneeze for posterity. Which of these is false about sneezes?
Okay.
A human sneeze can travel up to 100 miles per hour. B, it is impossible to keep your eyes open when you sneeze. C, the Guinness World Record for the longest sneezing fit is 977 days. Or D, what?
I said, holy cow.
Or D, it is a myth that bright sunlight has any effect on making you sneeze.
Oh, all right. I'm going to say that the myth is false.
So you're saying that it is true that bright sunlight has some kind of...
Well, it makes me sneeze. So I'm only going by me.
Yeah. So is that your final answer, though?
Yes.
Well, you know, Vicki, even though you're not, Reesa and I and Rabbi Sal Solomon are a Jew, because you do get those two. A Jew. Anyway, you get 2 points because it really is a thing. That
It is a thing. Every morning when I was a kid, I'd wake up in the morning, go out to play and sneeze.
It sounds like fun. The deal is apparently some people, they call this photic sneezers, and they actually call this ACHOO as an acronym, autosomal cholinergic helio-ophthalmologic outburst reflex, ACHOO. Scientists think it might be that the light causes your pupils to shrink, which somehow crosses with the muscles in your sinuses. And that's why it does the thing like, but it's a real thing, as you said. Well done. And I thought I'd fool you, but no, Donna Griffiths sneezed more than 1 million times in the first year, which is about 2,700 times per day or 114 times per hour.
Oh my
And this
God.
continued
What happened to her?
from 1981 to September 16th.
How could she eat?
What?
How could she
How'd she
sleep?
do any sleep? I assume she slept a little bit, and then once she woke up, she had a lot more. It was like she slept
Wow.
for an hour. It was like
Amazing. Amazing.
September-
Poor thing. Wow.
And the 16th of September 1983 was her first sneezeless day
Wow.
after 977 days.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
It's better than vertigo.
Well, yeah, if you had vertigo for that, you would. Yeah. But
Joyce, did you see my fashion suggestion for you?
don't tell her what it is, though. Don't tell her. See if you can guess. Oh, see, when you move away from it, I can see it.
I'm too busy watching the squirrel.
Can you see what that is?
It's a squirrel hat.
I was gonna say, it looks like my nemesis. Yes, Mr. Squirrel.
Is he out there?
No, he's gone. Shoot him.
Good.
I said the universal word of get. I don't know where that came from, but it came out. Get. And he went. He doesn't like it.
Tell him Granny's gonna cook them in.
Yeah, roadkill grill. I'm down for it. Now,
I live in Texas. That's not unknown.
Oh.
Have you ever tried? Any of you ever tried squirrel? It's
Tastes like chicken. No.
No, because I had rabbit last week, and we just got yak meat that I'm gonna,
Oh, yeah.
try and turn
Yak is probably, I've eaten a lot of odd, because I used to have unusual meat at my cookouts. I've eaten bear, lion.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I've eaten raccoon, and rabbit, of course, is nothing.
the
Have I eaten
rabbit. I
squirrel?
have
I
rabbit
did
last
eat
week.
squirrel.
Wait,
Do
wait,
they
wait.
have split hooves? No, just kidding. Okay, go on.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask, what is bear?
Oh, bear is tough. You have got to eat bear quickly, because otherwise you might as well just put it in your shoe and wear it,
wow.
because it gets it gets tough,
That-
really
yeah.
tough right away.
Does
But
it
you
taste
get it
like?
right when you finish cooking it and slice it, delicious.
Oh, what's delicious?
Yeah,
Is
but
it like?
after a tiny amount of time, it starts to dry up, and then forget it.
But what kind of meat does it taste like when you get it fresh? Like you just cooked it, it's sizzling.
It has a beefy, flavor to it.
And what about lion? Is lion more like fish?
Mine's very mild, extremely mild.
Oh, huh. I
If
had.
I
So is
feel like
camel.
eating a cat.
Camel is very, very mild. I've not eaten cat or dog.
Oh,
But
both things. I figure you've had camel and lion, but you haven't had dog.
not eaten dog. No, even though I've been in the southeast, but no.
Wait a minute. Just one last question before we move on with the quiz here. You had cookouts. You were at cookouts. Who's bringing a lion? Who's like, where's the hibachi?
There was a game. There was a shop in the Chicago area that sold game.
And was it legal to sell lion meat?
Well, they were shut down eventually.
Yeah, wondering
So,
about that. Yeah.
that's a good question.
Because I would try possum. Oh my God. It's sort of late, but let's try this.
Is Leslie here?
She might well be. There's no real way to do the game properly at this
We
point.
can hear her. Leslie, can you hear us?
She's connecting right now.
Yeah. Hey, Les. Leslie Hoban Blake, by the way, is the co-star-ish of Two on the Isle, a theater review program that has been running with host Charlie Gross for many, 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 many years. She's a theater critic, a former actress. And Leslie, are you with us?
And she's our friend.
And our friend.
Leslie.
Leslie, we can't hear you if you're talking. We see you got your photo up, which is great, but we don't hear you.
Ask her to unmute.
She's participating. I can see her as a participant.
There's not even giving me the unmute thing.
No?
It's not even.
Here.
Yeah.
Ask her to unmute, David. I don't want to be on
She's
speaker.
there.
No, I'm saying, but it doesn't have that ask to unmute thing, which is weird. So it's not even giving me that option.
I'll see if we can text her.
Oh yeah. Well, I assume she can hear us. Oh, here we go. Wait. Oh, she's coming back. Leslie.
Leslie.
See, Reesa, this is how my show goes. I don't worry about mistakes. Then the entire program is a mistake, essentially. By the way, in the game, Vicki has 6 points. Reesa not yet on the board, but we're sort of only halfway through the game.
I'm so Reesa, most times new people don't get it.
Oh, I did. I said, it's no big deal if you don't get any points. Really, you're not supposed to get any points.
Leslie!
Singularly pointless game. Oh, Leslie, you're doing video. Hey, how are you, kiddo?
Sweetheart. Hi.
Is he okay?
Is she muted?
That's the thing. She was fine. We had her.
Just leave those roses on.
Yeah, the roses are lovely. Oh,
That's
we lost her.
Okay.
I think it's her Wi-Fi connection sometimes isn't good, she said.
Oh, that yeah. She's had that. It has nothing to do with what she's been dealing with. It's just
Her
her
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
is so
sucks because it's only 2023 and they big companies can't get their Wi-Fi and right. It's like
Well, no, she lives in a massive apartment building, so.
all the more. In the middle of Manhattan. Like hello. But you know what? We're going to continue with the game. So here's the deal. We're at question number 4, which means Reesa. This is your shot to get on the board.
Okay.
And this is yet another.
I'm gonna say try to come back, right?
Yeah, please ask her to keep trying. Reesa, this is a special question called Change One Letter. She's trying, but I'm trying.
This is such a perfect game for a dyslexic. Thank you very much. But continue.
Oh, that's right. You might get the wrong, not the wrong one. So here's how this one works.
No, I understand. You give me, I know I know the drill of change one letter.
Okay, fine. So it's 1 point for one of the answers and another point for the other answer. And you're going to give us both answers if you can. And
Okay.
I do a little doggerel poem that should give you both answers. You ready?
Good. All right.
Here we go. And this is about someone who was born today, January 7th, in 1948. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm all right, this footloose pop tunesmith made clear. Change one letter and you have a lumberjack's career.
Oh,
Hmm.
David.
So
And close.
chopping wood is what a lumberjack does. Polishing his, polishing his saw. I'm thinking of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Spend some time polishing, sharpening your saw. This game and my brain are not a good match. But,
Well, you're looking for a word. You're looking for one.
one word?
Name or
One word that then changes one letter.
Well, I think I'm going to pass to Vicki or any other
No,
human.
you can try it. I mean, do the clues again.
I'll read the poem again.
Okay.
Think of who sang the song. Think of the singer of this
Oh.
song.
Okay, here we go. I'll read it again. Here's the poem. I'm all right, this footloose pop tunesmith made clear.
Oh, yeah.
Change one letter and you have a lumberjack's career.
I give up. I really can't do stuff like this. So this is what I know. I'm really smart in a lot of ways, but not this. So please let me pass it on.
Fair enough. Okay, and remember we can push your book, Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear. So,
Okay, I'm going to say Kenny Loggins and logging. I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to say that.
is that your final answer, Vicki? Kenny
Yes.
Loggins, change one letter in logins, and it becomes logging. Final answer?
Yes.
You are not only footloose, you are fancy free, and you are on fire in this game.
I am shocking. And you know what? It wasn't until you said it again and I heard the I'm all right, then I could see the little character, the little groundhog. And I thought, oh, I was thinking the movie Footloose.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joyce was on the sheet had logins and
Yeah.
logger, and it was like,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but
Loggins,
when I heard
Loggins.
I'm all right, I said, oh, that's Kenny Loggins. I remember that song.
And there you go.
Excuse me, I just wanted you to know
Oh.
I'm lurking here, okay?
Hello, darling.
Yay!
I'm
Yes.
just lurking. I know the show. I know you've already gone way over in the quiz. I'm just lurking.
Well, lurk away. How are you, Leslie? This is Leslie Hoban Blake.
I'm very late. I'm so sorry. But I'm here.
I am still here. And how are you feeling, Leslie?
I think I've rounded the corner. I think I'm going to be okay.
Mazel tov. I mean, that's
Thank you.
You just had such a rough time of it.
It's been a rough time. Thank you. I'm very sorry.
I'm
No,
so
no.
sorry, sweetheart.
Sorry for you. Yeah.
I
So
wish I was there. I would bring over something.
You're
I would
so
bring-
sweet.
I'd bring over
people-
something to make you laugh.
People have been so kind. My friends have been so kind. You have no idea.
I
I'm very grateful.
Leslie, what did you do for New Year's Eve? Did you drink
Oh,
champagne?
please. Well, I was on Dave's show. I wasn't on with you. I thought I was gonna be on with you, but I wasn't. And then
I was on with Moisha.
I was on with my family, and we did a Zoom on for New Year's. I haven't been out. I'm going out. I'm going to try to go out this afternoon.
Oh,
yay.
good.
Good, Les. So here's the deal, Les. What we
Good
can
job,
maybe
you wear squirrels.
No,
yeah,
I'll just
you were
listen. I just wanted you to know I'm here. That's all.
Well, what you can do, Les, is you can take part if you want in. We're not there yet, but in the tiebreaker. So
Sure.
we'll do the
Of
game,
course.
and then the tiebreaker. All three of you can.
And I'm sorry to your guest. It's very rude. I apologize.
Reesa, do
Oh,
you feel her?
sweetheart.
I have no issue.
Good.
I'm pretty happy right now. We're
I
good.
would, Leslie, the guest. Just so
Or
you
why
know,
don't you do this? Why don't you let if your guest needs to phone a friend, she can throw in and tag team with.
Oh, I don't want to do
yeah,
that to Vicki.
fair enough.
That's not. That's not
It-
fair to Vicki, but that's
It's
okay. Thank
okay.
you.
I don't mind. There's 3 women here.
Well,
We all support
you
each
know
other.
what? Wait a minute. I could be a phone a friend for either person.
Yes, yes.
Fair
That's
enough.
it. That's it.
That's
Okay.
fair. I don't mind doing that.
Oh.
To be
Okay.
quite honest, Vicki, by the way, has already won the game.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh,
Well, then it doesn't
Oh.
matter. Okay.
The
All
squirrel
right.
is
Joyce is running outside to chase the squirrel away. It's a morning here. But okay, but Reesa, even though the game is technically over because Vicki has 8 points already and won, we still do the questions. We still do the
Yeah.
thing. So this next question in our third and final round goes directly to Vicki. Vicki, you can get like 10 points now if you get this question correct. It is not a weird one. It's not a multiple choice. It's just a fill in the blank.
The blank. Okay.
Born January 7th, 1873,
That's
in
not gonna help.
Hungary,
Hungary. Okay.
this wealthy furrier found even greater success in the movie business. He participated with Jesse Lasky to create famous players, which the squirrels are saying. Which
He's sitting there and he won't move. He's
Uh,
sitting up on the other branch of the feeder with his tail.
He's
wrapped
mocking
around.
you. He's mocking you.
he is. He's got
I need my gun. Get my gun.
Well,
I don't have a gun.
who was it? It wasn't an uncle.
No.
We can tell the story that
He's got seeds in his little hands because he's like, you know.
there was a family member or someone who would take pot shots at marmots.
Oh, now you know. No, it was one of my students. So her grandfather had, I'll just say for the lay people, Alzheimer's, right? But he had cognitive impairment, and he had a gun, and he would shoot at marmots with this gun and sit in the car and shoot. And so they asked me what the solution was, and I said, just hide the bullets. So,
Brilliant.
good times.
Good
Just
time.
so long as a 6-year-old doesn't get to bring it to school.
I
Oh
know.
God, yes.
Look at
Was
this.
that strange or what?
Look at him.
Well, it's worse than strange. The kid actually wanted to do it.
He wanted to do it.
Yeah, it was a
Okay, let's
premeditated.
hear the
it was a premeditated
tiebreaker. Let's
thing.
hear the
Wait,
tiebreaker.
we're not at the tiebreaker. Believe it or not, we're still at
This is a question. So
Vicky's
1893,
only
born
for
in
Vicky.
Hungary, a furrier.
Right, here we go. He was a wealthy
So
furrier who
bad.
then found success in the movie business. He partnered with Jesse Lasky
Yeah,
to create famous players,
He's looking right at me, David.
which soon morphed into Paramount Pictures.
Hmm.
Name that impresario who lived until 1976.
Wow.
I see you, squirrel.
Oh my God. From Hungary. That should be a good clue.
I mean, I'm from Hunger, but that's different. Yeah.
Hungary. Joyce, any idea?
Oh, I'm gonna get.
Joyce
this
is so into the squirrel right now. She's in a whole other.
Okay.
She's just thinking of
Well,
like
tell me what.
building a concentration
Diga,
camp
diga,
for
diga,
rodents.
diga. ¿Qué pasó?
Okay,
Diga.
once again,
Mm.
born
Alright,
today, a
Hungary,
guy who was a furrier,
Furrier,
found
famous
success-
players became Paramount, died in 1976.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
No, it wasn't Jesus Christ. He was.
Is it Liberace?
I don't think it was Liberace
It's
now.
not Liberace. Let's see. Boy, I don't know. You think I would know this? Movies. Reesa, do you have it?
Samuel Goldwyn.
Is that your final answer?
Ooh, just say yes. Yes.
I have an answer.
Well, we're all playing. It doesn't. So we have a Samuel Goldwyn on the thing, and Vicki, you have nothing.
Nothing.
And
Do it, Reesa. Give it
I'm
to
not
Reesa.
sure. Because I know there was Warner formed Warner Brothers, and I know that Goldwyn formed Metro Goldwyn Mayer. But Paramount, I think, was Scourus. Was that his name? Scourus, a Greek guy.
Oh,
Oh no! You said
Either
Hungary.
that or
I'm
DeMille.
sorry. I'm sorry. You said Hungary. No, that would be wrong.
No,
You
give
said
it. Let
Hungary.
Reesa do.
It's either Goldwyn or DeMille. I like early movies.
Oh, I don't think it's DeMille. I don't
Well,
think.
Chris
No, but
Ford-
founding the glove makers and the furriers who founded the big companies. But Scourus was Greek, so that couldn't be right. No,
no?
I don't know who it was. I'm sorry.
Um,
Wait, was it Lemley? Was it Lemley?
Is that your final answer? Because I guess
I'll throw in Lemley because that's the
Mm.
Lamemele.
Right. Yeah. No, I know Carlin. I know.
Paramount.
So Vicky, you still haven't nothing. You're gonna.
I'm thinking Bela Lugosi. Wasn't he born in Hungary?
You got the Hungary part. Either that or Transylvania, one of the other.
Well, the answer is
What?
It was neither Carl Laemmle nor was it Samuel Goldwyn. We were looking for Adolf Zucker.
Okay.
Zucker Lasky, they created Paramount.
Right.
Oh well. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Nobody gets points on that one. We have, God help us, we have another question still before the tiebreaker. It goes directly, I don't know, everybody can think.
It's a toss-up. It's a
Well,
toss-up.
Reesa, you can get this.
Here we go. This would normally go to Reesa. It's another, I'm sorry, Reesa, very sorry, but this is another 3 clues in the news. So it's like that last one where it's 3 words and Okay, here we go. The
I hate
words
those.
are, listen, but give Reesa a chance first before you guys play on this. The words are loud, guest, wireless.
Okay. Guest. Guest. Guest.
Correct.
I have a guest in my house. Okay.
No clue.
Oh, come on. You give up too quickly.
Oh, that's
Loud
good.
noise.
Well, on
Noisy
my,
guest.
I
Wireless.
recognize when my brain is empty.
What was the last one again?
Read the
Wireless.
3 again. Loud,
Thank you. I got it wireless. Okay.
loud,
Wireless.
guest, wireless.
Wireless. Pole. Guest pole. Loud pole. Wireless. Phone. Wireless
Reesa,
device.
you're gonna kick
Wireless.
yourself.
Come on, Reesa. Come on, you're still in
I
it.
don't know why you're still looking at me. I've already deferred it to everybody.
No, Reesa, you're still in it. Guest.
No. You're
Unwanted.
asking someone from the remedial group,
Yes.
and I want you to knock it off. Have some
Overnight.
compassion for people whose
Overnight
brains work
guest.
differently.
Unwanted guest.
I don't think the squirrel-proof bird feeder exists.
Really? Sorry.
Yes.
We have an update on the squirrel bird feeder now, or the squirrel-free bird feeder. Apparently,
They
it's
don't exist.
they say that they make one, and then I guess the reviews are saying no, squirrels
Yes,
get at
people
it.
put pictures of squirrels eating at the squirrel-proof bird.
I'd call that a bad review when I'm a
Yeah, basically, yeah. Vicky, you have a thing for us?
I'm thinking. Guest speaker. Loudspeaker.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That's a good one.
This is why, Reesa, I was shocked. I thought for sure, speaker.
Oh, because she's a
You
speaker.
train speakers for 30
Right.
years. This is what you do. And I didn't even know that when I did this. But
Excellent, by the way. Excellent, Vicky.
loudspeaker,
Excellent.
guest speaker, wireless
You should
speaker.
have given
Oh,
him
that's good.
a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the relevance to the news.
That jackass.
Yeah, just jackass is right.
We don't even say his
Which
name.
jackass?
Yeah.
There's so many.
Well, McCarthy, who at some point last night
Finally.
became Speaker
Yeah.
of the House.
I watched it. I actually stayed up and watched it. That may be why I couldn't get to you this morning. I don't know.
There was a fun story in the pub. Did somebody almost attack somebody else? They have a picture of somebody holding someone back from Matt Gaetz.
Well, it's amazing that they didn't have to hold everybody back from Matt Gaetz. Yeah, something was said on the floor, but they were very careful not to show anything really. So nobody really knows what was happening. It'll come out in some squawker on line will tell us what it is.
Well, anyway, we have Vicky now with a wonderful 10 total points.
Vicky's on fire. My God,
Shocking.
Vicky.
I don't know what it is. I was drinking a lot of lemon water yesterday. Must have done it.
Wow, what is that behind you, Vic?
Well, if you are aware of the squirrel issue, I can try it here. I'll get out and you can see completely.
Ah.
It's a woman wearing a squirrel hat.
Oh my God. All right. No, I had no idea.
Don't you love it?
Isn't that what Ben Franklin?
Except when you're not sitting in front of it, I can't begin to tell you what it looks like.
Isn't that what Ben Franklin wore in Paris? Didn't he wear?
Or who have been coonskin? Well, no, Daniel Boone, I guess, a coonskin, but he wouldn't have had the head
Oh yes,
on the
raccoon.
raccoon. He would, I wouldn't have a foxtail thing with the actual fox's face on it.
They used to put birds on hats too.
Yes.
Full fully
Yeah.
stuffed birds,
Right.
right?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you look at the history of hats, it's really interesting.
My
Yeah. I mean,
grandmother was
Or
a
the
milliner,
history
so
of
yeah, I
humans'
saw a lot of
taste.
weird stuff.
well, sorry, what was that, Reese? What was
I
that?
would say, when you look at the history of humans' taste and how it varies,
Yeah. I mean,
You
there
know,
are people
there's
who actually enjoy this show. I can't, there's no accounting for it.
Aw.
there's
No,
always been a difference between fashion and taste.
Yes,
Sometimes
yes.
fashion does not really have taste, you know?
Yeah, my grandmother was a milliner and used to make hats, and they were weird. The weirdest. Some of them were some of them were lovely, and some of them were just weird.
Wow. Well, speaking of lovely and weird, we have our tiebreaker question. Right, that's a weird segue right there.
Need a piece of paper.
So Risa, do you have a piece of paper and a pen? Well,
yes, I do.
great, wonderful. Leslie, well, I'll give it 3, 2.
I'll play by the rules. I know.
So here's the deal. This is just one more question, and we do it so that normally everyone gets a chance to do it at the same time. Because if we need a tiebreaker, it's just a fill in the blank.
Who
We're
won,
looking for a
Vicki?
name. Oh, Vicki, come on, Vicki with 10 points.
You know why Vicki won? That's
The squirrel. The squirrel was talking in my ear,
World
Right.
power.
scattering away.
No, Vicky's just
Squirrel
hot today.
So the
Vicky's just
year.
hot today.
Here's the tiebreaker. The year was
Because
8.
Leslie, you've seen it when I didn't get nothing. So,
Well, and me too. So there
I'm
you
happy
are.
I got 2 points. So yeah, this is an aberration.
Just accept that you're hot today, kiddo.
I
don't
somehow
be
know
so
the answers
modest.
today.
By the way, Vicki and I don't know who our guest might be on the thing, but Leslie, just so you know, David should probably be joining us next week.
Whoa.
So
I
the
love
real
it.
king
Okay,
is
I'll
coming back.
do my best. By
Yeah.
next week, I should be a normal human being again, fully normal.
Right there.
I'm working on it really hard.
The show. Yeah. All right, here we go. Tiebreaker question. The year was 1896.
All right.
Published today by Little Brown and Company is the Boston Cooking School Cookbook. It's the first culinary book to use standard cups and measurements, and it's still in print, though
Wow.
better known by the name of its author. And who would that be? So don't show your just write it down. Just don't say anything. Write down your answers if you have one. And then I'll read the question again. And Vicki and Reesa will hold up their answers, and I'll ask Leslie to speak hers out loud, assuming she has one. So do your writing, and let me know when you guys have written down your answers.
I got something written down. Not sure it's right, but
Okay. Reesa, you good? I think you oh, don't show it. Don't show it. All right, hold on. I'll read it again and give it a
See, I might be dyslexic, but I know food.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Published today, 1896, on January 7th, by Little Brown and Company is the Boston Cooking School Cookbook, the first culinary book to use standard cups and measurements, and it's still in print, though better known by the name of its author. Who would that be? 3, 2, 1. Leslie, who?
Benny Farmer.
oh, and I said Betty Crocker.
No, not Betty Crocker. It is indeed Fanny Farmer. Yay! Reesa gets Leslie gets one. Yay.
And Leslie, excellent.
Well done, guys. Well done. And what a
Does
delight.
anyone have that cookbook in our little group here? Does
My
anyone have
mother used to have a copy. I don't know what happened to it.
You guys ever? My mother actually used Mother's cookbook when I was growing up. Did anybody have the Mother cookbook?
No.
No.
Which one did
Was
you
it
guys
was
ever
that a kosher cookbook? Or was that a regular cookbook?
It was regular, but
Oh. Just asking. I don't know. I never heard of it before.
No. So which Vicki and you guys all? Last question for you before I let you guys go. What cookbooks did you use growing up? What?
Well, I remember buying a Betty Crocker cookbook, which my daughter covets because the recipes are so simple and good. But I remember I copied my mother's. She wrote them out. She clipped out of newspapers and glued
My
them on
mother did that
cards.
too. My
and-
grandmother did that
know.
too.
Yeah.
I could not cook to save my soul. And I tried to make a brunch for my husband to be in my mother's kitchen of basically bacon, egg, and toast. And I couldn't get anything to come out at the same time. And I burned several eggs making it. It was dreadful. I could not do it. And I didn't learn. My husband did most of the cooking when we were married. And I bought myself a Betty Crocker book because it had all the instructions on how to boil water.
Right.
It literally started from ground zero. My mother was a fabulous cook and would never let me in the kitchen to learn how.
Oh.
Oh, so have you?
She did not want to share it because that was her domain. So,
Well,
Well, my
before I get to
former
Reese's-
husband, the mother of my former husband, okay, my former mother-in-law, I guess, had good advice. And she was a difficult woman, but she had really good advice. Her advice was, if you can read, you can cook, and she's right about that.
That is true.
if you really follow the instructions and stuff. And Reesa, do you have a cookbook thing that you used, or?
Yes, I am exactly like Leslie. My mom didn't let me do anything in the kitchen. And when I in my very first apartment, I did not know how to feed myself. And there was the first good cooking show came on, and I learned to cook from that cooking show. So I was trained to cook by Julia Child.
I was going to say, was that
Oh,
Julia Child?
wonderful.
Wow, wow.
All right, my first apartment had a stove that you had to light it. You had to turn the gas on. You had to step back. You lit a match and you threw it in, and then it was lit. And that first couple months, it was winter when I got that job right out of college because I graduated early. I lived on pot pies, chicken pot pies, which are terrible for they're loaded with sodium.
Yeah,
But
they are.
when I was 21 years old, and I knew how to cook, but I took the easy route and just lived off junk.
Yeah, like most kids.
And until I thought I got to do better than this. And
I
gotta get a
was
better
able to
stove.
cook for my kid
Hmm.
growing up. I mean, I was able to give him, make him basic things. I could do a chicken, I could do a steak. But by that point I could do that. But our first kitchen was the size of a closet, a tiny little closet. So it didn't, there was no room to do anything. I had no idea what to do. But during the pandemic, I started to cook again because
Oh,
I
yeah.
was home. What
Yeah.
else was I going to do? Because all my life from then on, I ate out. I ate out. I brought home leftovers. So the pandemic has been my friend. I love
Me
cooking
too.
now. I
You
love
love
cooking for
cooking now.
myself.
That's so amazing. So what's your best, last question, what is your best dish, Les, that you make?
Stuffed mushrooms.
Oh,
Ooh, yummy.
stuffed with what? What do you stuff them with?
Well, I used to stuff them with hamburger. I still do, but I can make a vegetarian version of it. And I use the whole mushroom. I chop up the stem into the mix. Right. I don't like breadcrumbs. I don't believe in breadcrumbs for almost anything. I use panko for chicken,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And so they're just wonderful. They've always been a favorite dish of mine.
Well, you guys are my favorite, well, it's sort of a sexist term, but you guys are my favorite dishes, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking.
He says that right in front of his gorgeous wife. Do you
Okay.
believe this?
Hey, Gorgeous Wife. Well, Gorgeous Wife is looking up squirrel-proof bird
No,
feeders.
I'm looking up standing desks now.
Oh,
I'm past the bird feeder.
We're also looking for a desk that she can use because we've been living here 5 months and she still doesn't have an office to working in the house.
Because I work in my real office, not
This is
my
true.
home office. Yeah.
But
Oh.
let me thank some wonderful people. First of all, our brand new friend of the Daverhood. She is Reesa Woolf, and you want to get her book. It's Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear. You can get it on Amazon or all the regular places that books come from. Also, you might want to check out, what was your website again for?
Everyone wants to be a confident speaker, so I named my website Confident with a T, Confident Speaking.
Oh, excellent.
ConfidentSpeaking.com for Reesa Woolf. Reesa is just absolutely so lively, so much fun, and
Thank you.
sport considering the nonsense of this show. Vicki Quade. Vicki, of course, is doing shows in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater, including, of course, Late Night Catechism, and it's Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? You're
Right.
doing those both this weekend. Anything else coming up in the weeks ahead?
Oh yeah, next weekend I'm downstate. I'm in the Carbondale area, so I'm going to be doing Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun down there, and then the weekend after I'm in the New Orleans area.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm doing the same show there, and then I have to get up early in the morning and get to Little Rock, Arkansas, and do a show there.
Oh,
Good Lord.
Whoa.
Got
Is
three
that at
shows
the
coming up.
Clinton Library or something, or are you going to go explore, going to visit?
Yes, I try to work in a little time to go around because I think those are too interesting. Well, I love New Orleans.
Oh, that's a gorgeous background. Now I can understand what that is.
Yeah, now I changed from the squirrel.
Oh,
And Leslie
no.
Hoban Blake. Leslie, you, even though at the moment you're not doing obviously new.
I've been working with Charlie a little bit on, he put up, he got Jeff to go with him to a couple of things.
Yes.
His old partner, Jeff. So he's putting up a couple of things and I'm just working on the copy and whatnot.
Sure. Well, the show, by the way, because you can see a lot of the older episodes, the show's been on for like
Yes,
30 years. It's called
Two on the Aisle.
Two on the Aisle on both Manhattan Neighborhood Network and on their YouTube channel, Two on the Aisle, usually with Leslie Hoban Blake and Charlie Gross, and now with our old friend Jeff Goodman. It's like old home.
Are you coming back into to see any shows? Ever?
I don't know. If I come in, it would have to be next week, and I don't think I don't know, honestly, Liz. I'd like to, but I'm just not sure.
I'm not sure if I'm going back for a while. I think that my immune system has been completely screwed, and I just have to see. I'm supposed to go on the 21st to see Merrily, and I want so much to see it. Merrily We Roll Along, but I just don't know. And that's the only thing I have booked. Everything else was canceled or I canceled. They canceled oh, what the hell is it? So whatever it was, they canceled another show for COVID on the 6th, the 5th, whatever day I was scheduled for it. So I wasn't going to be able to go anyway, but
between that and the closing, go figure, Ohio State murders couldn't get an audience in the middle of the holiday season. And in January, it's like, how come the tourists aren't coming to a show called Ohio State Murders? Why do they want to see Hamilton and Wicked? I have no idea.
I know. It's terrible.
Anyway, guys, it's been a delight. Thank you so much.
Reesa, it was lovely almost meeting you.
Everybody, do
My pleasure. Thank you all.
things. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reesa. Thank you, Vicki. Have a great new year. And
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Vicki. Have a wonderful week, and thank you for being able to come in and join us.
Congratulations, Vic.
Thank you, and wish us good luck with our squirrels.
Good luck with your squirrels.
Oh, Leslie Hoban Blake there, and we're back in the Daverhood. It's 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time here with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable and squirrel despising wife, Joy.
Oh!
Jesus Christ, yes. Just one at least, or?
Look at him. He's looking at me. Look at this.
I gotta see this. I do have to see this.
Look at him. Look at him. What? And he turned away. He turned away. Now he's turned away.
How did he get on it? See,
That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
I hope you know, this means war. He's going down. He's still doing it. He's trying to gnaw at the tape.
I bet you he ate through the tape.
Well, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, if he could gnaw through plastic, it's a little bit easier for him to gnaw through tape.
Tap your window.
The window thing ain't working.
Yes, it did. Look.
I mean, hold on. He's still on there. He's scaring the birds underneath, which we don't want. Oh, that you squirrel, you.
Look at him. That's it.
Yeah, this is my life. Okay, so Joyce is literally outside the door. I don't know if you can hear her screaming, "Get!"
No, I said get. He'll go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll wait a minute.
We're gonna have to take down that bird feeder.
Yeah. Or just feed the squirrels. You know.
Now the birds are back there, isn't it?
Yeah. Remember, the squirrel is knocking seed down to the ground, and the birds are like, "Oh, thank you very much." You know. So it's not as if only the squirrel's getting some food. By the way, if you have no idea what the hell is going on, this is Dave's Gone By. It's our.
I'm so mad.
I know.
I'm so mad at him.
Ah.
Now there are 2-3 birds eating. He's bad. And it's probably another one. There's a big fat one who's not afraid of me.
Right.
But the little ones, when I go get, they run.
Right.
But the big fat one, he won't move.
If you're that food driven, you're gonna,
No, but now there are birds eating on it.
That's good. As soon as the squirrel goes, the birds go back in.
No, there was one bird eating while the squirrel was climbing on it. He was like,
really?
Yeah, he was like, I need my
All right,
food.
so if they're sharing the
They're
wealth.
not sharing. The big fat squirrel's the problem. He's the one he's like huge. He towers over the other squirrels, and then he goes there. The other little squirrels, when I say get, they run down. But the big squirrels, like, it's mine.
You know what we can do is
And
we
I
can.
tape that. They
I
ruined
know
my
he's
tape.
well. Yeah, it's easier to poke through
And
tape.
then I look, there's no such thing as a squirrelless
Approved
bird
bird
feeder.
feeder. Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe we can pick whatever else squirrels eat. We can make a pile of it by the feeder, and that'll attract the squirrels.
No,
and
I
then,
don't want to attract squirrels. I'm mad at them.
well. And then we're gonna have to have a bird-free backyard because I don't know what else to do.
I looked up bird-proof bird feeders, squirrel-proof bird feeders.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're 2-3 birds eating. You guys eat good.
Oh man,
I'm telling you.
the joys of suburban
He
life.
ruined my tape.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tat him on his coolie dip.
Well, maybe we'll use like masking or the strong duct tape thing.
Oh, now they're birds eating, which they should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I think you have an idea by now of what this show is. We still have Greeley Crimes and Old Times to do. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we're going to Newcastle, Colorado, and what else? Some stuff I wanted to yap about. Oh. So Joyce, as you can see, is very distracted by
No,
the
there
squirrel.
are many. Now they're all the birds are eating. There are a lot of little birds. There's a robin. Everybody's back.
Are they eating properly, or are they just diving into the broken?
No, they're eating from the little bird
Good.
holes, yeah.
Wonderful. Speaking of distractions.
What are we gonna do? Ask your listeners if anybody knows how to fix it.
Well, yeah, I'm not on the Facebook thing, but if you have any suggestions for making your bird feeder squirrel proof,
I'm gonna ask
we'll
my
take-
phone. Hold on.
so here's the deal.
Squirrel proof. Ask your friend, the bird watcher.
Happy Gardens. A wraparound squirrel baffle is great for keeping squirrels away from bird
A
feeders.
squirrel
By creating
baffle.
a conical, unstable separation between the pole and the bird feeder, wraparound baffles deter squirrels from stealing birdseed. Torpedo baffles also keep squirrels away from bird feeders.
Torpedo baffle.
Torpedo baffle.
We need a torpedo baffle.
I don't even know what that is.
Man the torpedo baffles. Keep the squirrels away.
How to build a squirrel proof.
Anyway, so speaking of being distracted, yesterday, now I drive very often, Joyce, back and forth to the school.
We gotta go get some jugs.
Well, once we're divorced, I can't. No, okay. So I drive Joyce, my wife,
David,
back.
what does the word baffle mean?
It has several different things. Like a bafflement is kind of an armament, as opposed to being
See,
baffled
look,
like I am all the
look.
time. What? 13 proven tricks to keep squirrels out of bird
That's
feeders.
just like our squirrel.
Just like our squirrel.
Elevation.
Yeah. Right. Keep it high up and not next to anything. Yeah. What other ideas?
That's not helpful.
Oh, okay.
We gotta get something like a house with wire. A squirrel cottage. It's out of stock.
You know, we can
What's squirrel baffle? I don't know what baffle is.
we could poison the bird feed.
No, what is
That
squirrel
would kill the
baffle?
squirrels.
What is a squirrel baffle?
It's a baffle. You know, like when you making a radio studio and you don't want the sound reverberating, you put baffles up. And I guess it sort of mentally baffles the squirrel as well.
Oh, soap. It
So-
says supposedly squirrels detest the smell of Irish Spring soap.
They say that about deer too.
Hang a
keeps
bar
away
of
deer.
Soap not
Yeah.
far from your bird feeder. Well, let's just do that.
All right.
We can get Irish Spring soap.
All right, but I don't want to deter the deer though.
Well, we'll make a little tiny bar of soap.
All right.
I don't know what a baffle is. How come I don't know that?
Well, it's going to tell you.
It doesn't show a picture.
Really? Just Google squirrel baffle, as so many of you have.
See, they say something like that, so I guess birds.
That's a
can get
squirrel
in.
baffle. There it
Is
is.
that a baffle?
But if I were a squirrel, I'd be able to hang off that.
I know. I don't understand it.
What would happen is the squirrel would get on it, and it wouldn't be able to get at the seed inside, but it'd still be tipping the thing back and forth. It almost looks like a lighthouse, like or protection around a light bulb. So.
Look at him. Look at him.
Oh my! Oh, can I show that? Can I?
No, that I don't want to encourage that. Baffle
All right.
the squirrels, David. What? I don't want. What's a baffle?
I guess you're baffled about what baffles are.
How can I make a baffle if I don't know what it is?
Well, it should be telling you.
It doesn't show a picture and I don't know what it means. They're jumpers.
Yeah, they obviously the squirrels are jumpers. Yes.
Uh,
So speaking of being distracted,
Look at this one.
yeah. What? This is what they. Well, that's a flying. He's taking leaps.
Yeah.
The problem is ours are able to climb and jump on to the top of this thing.
How I designed a bird. You gotta call your friend the bird friend.
Yeah. Oh,
We need a
man.
higher pole.
That's, yes. Joyce has said that since our honeymoon.
Oh wow. See, look at that pole. See, it goes like that. They can't climb the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it. If you get it really way up, there's only so high a squirrel can move or jump if it's not near anything.
How do we get that pole? How do I get that pole?
Probably at Home Depot or Lowe's. You just, do I have a pole that's like, I don't know,
No,
14 feet?
You need to get PVC pipe and a drill. We can't do
Oh,
that.
good Lord, no.
We
No.
can't do that.
I mean, we can, but we can't physically do. Why the drill?
You have to make it. It doesn't come made.
Well, you put the pole in, it's just a pole, but then you have to hang the thing.
They're cute, fuzzy. Who knew squirrels were so naughty?
Farmers for years, probably. This is the same thing with raccoons. You know, if you've ever had garbage out, you know there's a reason you have to keep garbage covered. Because they're rodents, they're raccoons. This is what they do. It's what squirrels do. They eat. As I told Joyce this morning, yes, we have a bird feeder. We know it's a bird feeder. The people who bought the house and put the bird feeder up, they knew it was a bird feeder. The people who sold it to them knew it was a bird feeder. Squirrels.
They don't know.
Yeah, squirrels see that. And it's like, oh, squirrel feeder. Why are those human shapes yelling at us and waving us away? They put this up for us.
I did not put it up for
Is
them.
it not dinner time? Should we have waited
I did
15
not. I bet you he's there. If I look, I bet she's there.
Should we have said Birkat Hamazon first? I mean, what the... is he there?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll figure this out.
I'm so mad at him. That
Yeah.
little one goes away, but that big one is the problem. That big one stays there, needs to feed.
Yeah, he's dominant. He's like, he's big pussy in Sopranos. He's like, I'm going to eat.
See, they have, this must be the baffle. You put like it's a cone over it.
Oh,
You gotta get a
cone.
baffle. But they ate our feeder.
I could use a cone over.
You could just get a bowl. Look at him, see? Nice try, squirrel. You know they're...
Oh, that's interesting. If we put an upside down like plastic bowl on top,
Yes.
there's no way they could, but birds
Exactly.
could still go in.
Yes, that's what they're showing. That's the baffle. See, I didn't know what a baffle was.
Yeah.
That's a baffle.
That's cool.
See,
We can
so
do
what
that.
they do is they get a plastic dish.
Yeah.
And then you put a hole in it and you put the dish on the wire so they can't,
That
I'm
actually
trying
makes
that.
tremendous sense. Something tells me people have been dealing with this for centuries. Yeah,
Fuba. How dare you?
I know.
Some of them are getting the upside down sheet plant thing, like a sheet plant thing and just putting it. That's a good idea. Who thought of that baffle is brilliant?
Yes.
Bird. What is it called? Baffle?
A baffle, a squirrel baffle for bird feeders.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you make a baffle for a bird feeder to prevent squirrels from eating bird seed?
According to Birds and Blooms, put a slinky on the bird feeder pole to stop squirrels. If you'd like to have a little more fun with your squirrels, try turning a toy slinky into a baffle. Thread the post through the slinky and attach one end under the feeder, allowing it to drape down the post. Shorten it if the slinky touches the ground.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, look here.
Put a slinky.
Yeah. They show
A
that.
slinky.
See, I don't want to put a slinky.
I do.
I want to get a baffle.
Look at. Wait. It doesn't seem to be keeping the.
It does not. Yes. It
What
does
is?
not
What's
work.
the purpose of putting
It's
a slinky?
exercise for the squirrel.
It actually gives him more stuff to
Yeah,
hang
of course
on
it does.
to.
Yes, and then it also gives them exercise. So then they're like a ninja. Then he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna try to climb up that because I'm a bird, and I've gotta call them and see what they have. A bird. Lowe's has a bird baffle.
All right.
18-inch black. I don't want blackbird baffle. I want see-through so we could see the birds.
True. Yeah, true. Well, we see them flying to and fro, maybe not just under the baffle, but yeah.
People wrote reviews of the bird baffle, cheap as health.
By the way, speaking of distractions,
Mm,
I
it's a bestseller.
all right, good. And the reviews are mostly 4 or 5 stars.
It's about 4.5.
4.5 is good. There's always going to be
It's like
nays.
3 3/4. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Bird feeder accessories. I'm gonna look.
while you're doing that, I want to mention that
I'm so mad.
very often I drive Joyce back and forth to where she teaches.
Maybe weather guard.
And there's 2 different ways that I take. And I've done both of them dozens of times at this point. And so there's one time I kind of know it like
But do you think this weather guard would serve as a bird baffle?
the top one.
No, they don't
Oh.
work.
Oh.
No, bird baffle.
I would make it go more downward,
Yeah.
just like over the top of it, so there's no way the squirrel could like just get at it. So I drive her back and forth so even though I get the GPS going, I pretty much know. I know the roads, I know where to turn, I know this, that. It's a 5-mile drive to where she teaches and where I was teaching in the fall. So, I know it and I'm doing it and I'm kind of paying attention to the GPS and direction woman saying, turn here, turn there. But, at the same time, I'm keeping my eyes open and alert. And I notice on the local Walgreens,
Oh no.
and I see a sign, anyway, I'm driving, we're now only less than a mile away from the thing. And I've made this turn now dozens of times, it's like 2 blocks away. But I see a sign at Walgreens so that shows Gain Flings on sale. Gain, Gain, Gain Flings on sale. And I was like, squirrel.
He's hopping across the lawn.
You hop that one. Go
Oh, he's going the other direction. He's
Of
going.
course, because he knows I'm there. He's looking at
No,
me.
he's going to our stoop now.
I am not there. Do not be bad boy.
Gain Flings. And I'm like, what the hell? Because normally when you pass a Walgreens sign or a sign for a dairy barn or places, it's like, oh, milk, $3 for a gallon, whatever, or ice cream, 2 for $5, whatever it is. But this is a phrase construction I have never heard of before. Gain Flings. And Joyce caught it immediately. She's like, oh yeah, apparently there are these smelly dryer things that you put in, with your clothing, and it has, or either wash or dryer, and you throw them in, you fling them into, and you make the clothes clean and smelly. But I never heard this before. I was like, Gain Flings, $3.99. And I'm literally, this is the way I'm constructed. I was so baffled, if you will, by this, that I missed the turn. I made the wrong early turn. And suddenly I'm driving up the street going, Gain Flings. Not even realizing until I'm halfway down the block.
You turned in a parking lot of an urgent care.
It's true, it's
come
true.
on.
I was like, and suddenly I was, this is not where I should be. I mean, like I'm in an urgent care parking lot, and now I had to back out very carefully for fear of any ambulances coming through.
Yes.
And then I get back out onto the street and go to the place where I needed to go. But Gain Flings, ladies and gentlemen, Gain Flings. These exist. And I probably hate them because they've got like stinky, laundry-ish smell. I just like clean smell. Don't give me floral. Don't give me the perfume thing, which is like Joyce has been upset the last 2-3 days because she went for a haircut, a really nice haircut at this local place that she goes, semi-local place, and they had somebody new doing the hair.
No, they didn't.
No, so who did this to you?
Don't talk about it.
No, don't mention that.
No.
All right, I won't go there.
I found something I want. It's clear,
Mhm.
no rust, anti-UV, so the birds won't get whatever.
Anti-UV. So we're keeping the birds from getting cancer. They're not going to be irradiated by UV
But I
rays.
will only get February 20 in February. That's too late.
Yeah, we want it now. We need it, now.
Yeah, I need that.
So let's
Don't talk about my thing.
I'm not going to talk about. So we're talking about Gain
Oh, here's
Flings.
one.
Yeah.
January 13th.
We talked about the bird feeder. We talked about the craziness and the thing. Oh, we did have this. We were having some issues getting back, maybe from the storm. We were knocked off our Wi-Fi a little bit.
Go.
So we're trying to talk to HP because Joyce's computer her laptop is an HP.
No, why? No, we're not HP, but because of the printer.
Oh, right, of course, the printer. The printer was knocked offline. Couldn't get the Wi-Fi. Couldn't figure out how to get back. And you do these things with a printer. It's amazing now. I don't know if it's AI or what the hell it is, but you take a printer, a little local printer, you unplug it from the wall. You take the plug out of the side of the printer.
See, look, they show the squirrel getting in the baffle like that. You can't get up
Amazing.
it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, good.
But
Unplug.
that's if they. What happens if they jump on the pole? That's not helpful.
And then you even take the cartridge out and you let it sit overnight, unplugged, like it's right out of the box. And after hours, you plug the printer back into the wall, you plug the cord back into the printer, you put the cartridge back, and it's still flashing the same, exclamation point, warning, warning, I'm not going to work for you, I'm not online. I mean, figure, you can literally unplug a machine from the wall and it still will not properly reset. It's like it will not forget. There's some battery in there that is holding the information that's saying, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work for you.
What they told you was that it lost the program from your computer because you connected, right?
Yeah. So eventually it took like forever, but they told us what to do and we had to redo our router and plug stuff in. But the best part of this,
you know who I blame for it?
the squirrels.
Yes.
The squirrel. When I was chatting with, because you have these, they're not bot. First you have to deal with a bot, but then you actually supposedly get a real human being. But they're not going to use their real names, right? They're not going to, whoever you're talking with, because for privacy's sake, they're not going to suddenly say, oh, hi, I'm Shamil Vorkovich. No, because you don't know what crazy people.
I talked to him too.
You talked to Shamil Vorkovich.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
Good, he asked about you.
Yeah. So, but the best part of this is, and the unnecessary strange part of this is, so I start chatting, the chat with HP online. And this is literally a quote.
Is this our guy? Yeah.
Yeah. He says, swear to God, my name is Gino. Fine, thank you. But you can call me King. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know your real name, but do you have like a nickname for your fake name? And you're telling me both. I mean, and Gino is only 4 letters. I could understand if he said.
I love the nickname King. Come on.
No, but if his name.
You should have said you could call me Prince.
Yeah, no, I know, but I could have said my name is Dave, but feel free to call me Ian. It's like.
Or you could call me Cheeto. But
it doesn't matter. I don't know you. You are a helper there. Your name could be Mukhla Dingadesh. And then you said, my name is Mukhla Dingadesh, but you can call me King. I get it.
I think what they do is I think they're trying to train workers to be personable.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, a lot more people chat with you on the phone. I think there's a trend with people working from home in customer service to be more chatty. Because if you're working remote, the only people you're talking to are your customers.
I think that's okay. And I don't mind it. I mean, it is cute, but it's the most unnecessary thing ever.
I like it.
My name is Gino. But you can call me King.
I love it. I love it. I love that.
No, but it's different for like Thai people.
You should have said, my name is David, but you could call me Elvis.
Right, exactly. No, but Thai people do this when they're dealing with English. And they have names that are not that difficult, but unusual to an American ear. So there was a guy named Thangachai, right? It's only 3 syllables, Thangachai. But everybody called him Pop. His nickname was Pop. Because apparently Thangachai was, a little too weird.
How do you get Pop?
No idea. I don't know how he got Pop.
Did he like soda?
Well, maybe he was a fatherly guy. Like Pop, Dad, Father.
Or like Father, yeah.
And granted, Pop is a very memorable, cool name. Pop, Pop, hey, Pop. But at the same time, Thangachai is not unpronounceable.
Yeah.
It's Thangachai. you know, or I can call you Van.
Or Chai. I would call him Chai.
Chai.
Chi, I would call him.
Chai would fit him to a T.
May your laughter be squirrel free.
Thank you very, very much. By the way, let's see what else I wanted to
Thank you for respecting my boundaries.
okay, yeah. Love you. I'll do one
Did you
try.
just call me Leslie?
I said love you.
Oh, I just said Leslie.
Yeah. I love Leslie too, but in a very different
I'm
way.
glad she checked in. I was worried because she didn't. I wrote on her. I said, "Please check in. We miss you. Please come on Zoom. We miss you."
So she was just late for whatever, and I'm glad she showed up. So let me do this. I was looking at bird feeders. No, wow.
Oh.
Wow.
David, don't.
All we've been talking about is bird feeders. No, I was looking at
Please don't trigger me.
job things. Because I'm an adjunct professor, it's part-time,
Yeah.
the pay is horrible, you know, there's all sorts, I mean, certain things I love about it, certain things I hate about it. And of course, summer, I don't teach, but I'm not paid. So I would like something more full-time with stuff.
David, maybe we'll get some Irish Spring and we'll just put it on the metal and see if that works.
So then rub it. Yeah, we'll try it. I always hated Irish Spring. I hated that smell. But
Maybe
then
you're
my mom a
not.
squirrel.
Oh my God, you're furry. You're small.
Thank you.
You're scared of loud noises.
True.
You do hang upside down when you eat.
Right, and I like to play with my nuts.
Yes, you're a squirrel. Oh my God, you're a squirrel. David, you're a squirrel.
Thank you.
I'm scared.
So, but I do want to do one job thing. And this happened this week. This should tell you what world we're living in and how you as a gerontologist will appreciate this. This is how messed up my chances are. So it was an application that involved writing and editing, which is straight up my alley, kind of perfect for this gig. Have they called? No. Have I heard from them? No. Will I? No. But here's the deal. I fill in, it's one of these things now, all they want you to do, forget cover letter, you still have to, but cover letter and resume, send this and that. No, they also want you to fill out all these fields. It's like the whole job application game is basically creating jobs for people who create templates to fill in. So you have to fill in the same fucking thing that's on your resume again and again and
It's
again.
so they could look at it more easily.
Well, so there's one place on this application for a writing thing.
Oh, it's a misspelling?
No.
It's a bad language?
It asks, no, you can actually use this in your or study stuff or somewhere in your teachings about gerontology.
Uh-oh.
It asked me the question, how many years of writing experience do you have?
Yeah.
How many years of professional writing experience do you have? What's the question?
What did you say?
And then it gives you a thing, like, little box.
Range or number?
No, you put in the number.
It was interval ratio. Let's use real language.
What is interval ratio?
A real
isn't
number. It
Real
wasn't like
number.
a range.
Real number, real number. So I put down, I've been a theater critic, a published theater critic since 1988.
Okay.
And was even writing a little before then. So I put down 35. And it wouldn't go. I would hit enter and it would give me a red mark. I said 35, 35. Hit enter, red mark. Kept doing it. And I said, what the fuck? So I put 30 and it accepted it. It has this idea.
It hasn't truncated, yeah.
No, it's not even truncated.
Yeah, it's truncated, meaning it has a cap on the number of years, yeah.
So this idea that there might be somebody with 30 plus years of experience, they don't even figure I should be out to pasture.
You know what I don't like when they ask you to put in like date of birth and it's a calendar and you have to cycle through the calendar and they start in like 2008. I'm like, what happens if somebody's born in the 40s? It's like you want to get...
Well, if they're born in the 40s, they're dying. But if they're but if they're born in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, right? I mean, but this idea that it can't even conceive of someone with more than 30 years of experience, because how come you're not dead? How come you're applying for jobs and not in a casket, sir? So I put in 30, the highest number that it would allow me. And I probably should have put in like 10, right? I should probably clean up my resume, take away, and make it look like I'm 20-something years old.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
And I'll actually get fucking jobs because I just have too much background. I have too much experience for the world out there.
It's called
No kidding. I've been experiencing this since my 40s. Plus, my personality drives things away as well. And then let me do this other one, sort of from the opposite perspective, something that I did not apply for, but that did come up in my feed. A part-time bowling associate.
Oh, whoa. What do you need to do?
And here they really want people to apply. Here they're not even vetting. They just was like, this is a quote. This is a quote from the job listing for the bowling associate. Quote, "Are you into video games, bowling, and karaoke?"
Yes.
And I wanted to write back and I said, if so, here's a noose, a stool, and a will to sign. And it's like, I mean, I love bowling, but this idea, like, is anybody into karaoke? Is anybody, if you're not Japanese?
I think people do like it.
But watching other people sing and help, I'm like, no!
Isn't that called stalking?
Right. And here's the deal. This is the wonderful thing about America. That job pays $13.50 an hour, but you get 90 minutes of free bowling per week.
Oh, I would do it.
Week. I could understand if you got an hour bowl after every shift, because the lane is there. You're using their shoes. It's not like they're paying you extra. It's like if the lane is there and nobody's using it, put your shoes on. Thank you for working for 5 to 7 hours, whatever the hell it is. Here's your paycheck. Here, go have some fun. No, you get 90. This is how cheap this fucking place is. 90 minutes of bowling per week, and 1 hour of free arcade games.
Oh, I'm in.
But again, it's like, okay, the arcades, that money's going somewhere else, and the mafia's got some, so it needs the coinage. But I mean, 1 hour per, not shift, per week, and 50% off of the bowling alley food. And we know how good bowling alley food is. But this is a job thing. This is somebody saying, and if it were like $18 an hour, right? If I were 15, even 20, so I'd be like, reasonable paycheck, and I get a little bit of fun. But at $13.50, which is still less than what should be the federal minimum wage, which with the Republicans controlling the House, we'll never see. So, but I just felt like, whoa, no. As much as I love bowling, I do love bowling. I miss it terribly. No. And the fact that help bowlers, fine. And video games, kind of fun, kind of nice. Smacking around if it's not working for them. But helping people with karaoke, blasting through the thing with a microphone and having drunk people get up there. No.
I don't think you have to interact with the people, do you?
Well, it's part of it. I mean, even if you're spraying shit in their shoes so that you're disinfecting them and keeping the squirrels away from those special bowling shoes, which I would hate to. That smell of that disinfecting spray. I always hold the bowling shoes away from me while I'm putting them on my feet. I'm like, I don't want this on my socks. I'd rather have somebody's foot fungus. Ugh. Anyway, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. It is our 876th episode of the show. We've been calling it Wolf Whistle, which is kind of cool because just a few months ago, we had Andrea Bell Wolf on as a guest of the program, and we called that show Wolf Whistle, but it was spelled differently, like her name.
I learned a lot from your guests.
Well, yeah, and today we had, of course, Reesa Woolf. Let's do. Hunter, are you able to do some gridly crimes? Or are you still like completely squirrel obsessed?
No, I'm reading news to calm down.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to do a little bit. We'll do just a couple of.
Let me just get one look, one more check.
See if he's up there. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll get the newspaper out.
No, okay, I'm good.
Oh, you're good.
I'm
Okay.
good, yeah.
So let me share with everyone the Always a Tree Can Kill You, the classic headline of the Greeley Tribune, going back already to 2019. This is a real newspaper with some great photographers who can get footage like this that you really can't get anywhere else.
Nature's crazy.
If only the trees would kill the squirrels, then we have a good
I
thing.
don't want them killed. I want them just off. I don't want the squirrels to die. I want them just to go off with the bird feeder. That's
By the way, I took this for the other side of this, but look what literally just came out of my.
Oh no.
Look at that! Look
Oh
at that.
no.
Seeds, a gift that grows.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, the other side is, of course, the classic "Bring joy with a water buffalo."
Yes.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But the Greeley Tribune has two columns in it every week. One is called Cop Log, which has to do with people seeing bad things in the neighborhood and wanting the police to look into it. And also 100 years ago, their staffer, Mike Peters, goes through the newspapers from 1923 and pulls out some of the weirdest, funniest, goofiest things to modern eyes that were actually published in Northern Colorado newspapers, well, 100 years ago. We mix them both up together and we come up with a segment that I like to call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. La 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 la. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes Old Times here on the Dave's Gone By show, live on this Saturday morning, January 7th, 2023. I wonder if I remember to say 2023 last time, but it is 2023. So here we go. I'm going easy on the crimes because one thing in the Tribune for the past 2 months, they haven't had any new crimes.
Really?
This is disturbing. I actually, I want to read, I can even read,
I think you wrote the person, right? They said
I did.
they were having some trouble. You read it last time.
I mentioned it. I didn't actually read it. Let me see if I can find the message from a very nice lady at the Greeley Tribune. She's a person who collates all this. And if you've ever taken collates, you know how delightful that can be. Search Mail Tribune. Let's see. No. What did she write back? No, that's not that. Oh well. Hold on. Let me see. Yes. Yeah. So a very nice person wrote back and said that, thanks for reaching out. Sadly, there are issues with the implementation of an RMS system. Now, see, one of the reasons I'm not getting hired for publishing jobs is I don't know what an RMS system is, and the employee who sends us the logs has been unable to receive them. But they're following up. This was literally before the holiday, or this was before, it was before all the holidays. I'll shoot you an email once I hear back and keep you in the loop going forwards. Hopefully, in the upcoming weeks, we can both get back to cop logs. So thank you so much from the Trib, but at least as of a check of a couple of days ago, they're not back. So I'm going quite easy on the loggeria and sticking more with the old times. But let's do one or two pieces of crime. Are you ready, babe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And you have your sound machine. A caller! That's some caller right there. A caller on 31st Street said a woman with a bunch of metal objects and an alcoholic beverage in her hands was trying to get into a building with middle schoolers inside. All right, okay. This is arts and crafts. There's
You
like,
know that the substitutes are hard to come by,
I know.
right? It's like,
tell me about
I'm
it.
here for wood shop.
Or metal. This would be metal shop.
Yeah, why not?
So if you cut yourself on the metal, you take the alcohol.
But I
you
don't think you're allowed to have alcohol on a school campus.
No, hell no. Can't even do it really. Shouldn't even do it on a college
No,
campus.
you shouldn't.
I remember one time, I was just thinking about this week, when we were at the USC fellowship. There was an NEA
Oh, yeah,
USC fellowship, and we were at University of Southern California. And one of the people we were being mentored, if you will, by all these different writers. So some music writers were being mentored by Robert Christgau of the Village Voice, and we had theater critics and film critics. And one of the music guys was also Tim Page, who just that week had gotten tenure at USC as a professor there. And so, it was
No, as
that
associate.
day, we
You
were there
don't get
that day.
tenure as a professor, you get it as an
I don't know
associate.
if he got full or, well, he got whatever. He got like a big thing.
Promotion,
And suddenly our fearless leader, lovely lady, we were in the lunchroom having lunch, and she like snuck in a bottle of champagne. And she's popping the champagne, or it might have been wine, and they're pouring cups. And it was like, I just was sitting there going like, we're in a college university cafeteria, and we're spraying around wine. I don't know if that's the best look, but yeah, it's California. No one said a thing.
No, they even at my dissertation, my chairwoman, they always bring alcohol, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's people under 18 or 20, no, 21. I keep forgetting that the legal age of these things is 21. Whatevs. Anyway, let's do one more. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
What?
All right, hold on.
Do not do this to me.
I got two more. Wait.
Do not do this to me.
A woman on 11th Avenue said she bought the wrong vape from a smoke shop
Yes.
and it got her high.
Whoa.
And you're complaining.
No. So she wanted something that was like just like a smoking substitute, and they gave her a cannabis lace probably.
I
So
saw.
she just like a lot of people, they do like e-cigarettes and vaping and stuff because they don't want to do nicotine cigarettes.
Yeah.
So they have like flavors and stuff, but they don't have any. They shouldn't have any like chemicals to get you high. So they gave her the wrong like cartridge or whatever that probably got her high.
Oh, this same shop,
Yeah.
another woman went into, and they put like 5 different pipes in her mouth.
Yeah.
She filed a report. She was gang vaped. Yes, ladies and
Let me
gentlemen.
grab that.
Wait, honey?
I'm gonna grab that squirrel and.
No, come on, no.
No, it's shaking. He's on the bottom. Look at that fuba.
He's trying to push it forward again.
Somebody was on the bottom because the thing is swinging. It's
God.
skinny squirrel. Now maybe he's knocking it good. You can knock it. He shook it and he's eating from the ground. That's acceptable.
That you want? Okay, yeah, I guess
That's
so.
acceptable. You can shake it and eat from the ground. Look at him with the side eye. Don't you give me side eye, squirrel. I see you. I know you. You're a skinny squirrel. I know what you're doing. With that little scraggly tail, you eat the seed on the floor.
Can you do me the favor? Can
Yes.
you do me the honor? Do the third one
I'm not
down.
reading anything.
That was prepared
No, you read it.
weeks
I
ago. No,
can't-
you got it. You
I
have
can't
to.
do it.
You have- Where it says 245. Where it says
Okay.
245, there's a third one down under crimes. Please read it loud.
It says a caller. Oh, jeez. On 8th Street said a squirrel was not, quote, air quotes, quote, not acting very squirrel-like, quote, by approaching people and trying to get in the apartment building. And read your joke.
And my joke is, yo, man, got any nuts?
You know who I blame? I blame the people remember at UNC they used to feed the squirrels outside the one building?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. When you feed them, then they expect humans to provide food. And one time, it was in the grad school building, I remember our friend, Sonia, she said their squirrels got inside. They followed the man in because the doors were those automatic doors, and he came in, and they followed him in, and then he was banned. And they used to let them crawl on him. What's wrong with them? Like, that's not right.
Yeah. Well, it's also why they, we used to keep wildlife further and further back. We take away their habitats,
Yeah,
and they
that's
get
true.
closer to town. And this is why, people in certain areas, even in New Jersey, you have to keep your garbage under wraps for bears.
Bears?
Seriously, no, that's not a joke. There's bears in New Jersey, and so if you leave garbage out in an area where there might be bears, bears are not going to be scared off by your having a TV.
Well, I remember what James said. He used to say that if you once a bear, like in the woods, like in the mountains, like a lot of people at summer homes,
Yeah.
and they would leave food out, and then he said to everybody at lunch, once a bear locates your place as food,
Oh
it
yeah,
always comes back, and it thinks of it like a fridge.
right.
So once it like goes in your house or cabin and eats your food, then it comes back all the time trying to eat your food.
And what do you think these squirrels are doing to our bird feeder? They say, oh, bird feeder, the squirrel feeder, it's here. It was here a week ago. It'll be here next week. I guess this is for us every day. Oh, and they just reloaded it, new buffet. Yeah. Let's do some old times. These are items that were in the Greeley Tribune. It was called the Greeley Tribune Republican back then, but the Greeley Tribune newspaper back in 1923. For example, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Jefferson DeAngelis, nationally known comedian.
Really? I don't know them. Do you know them?
Jefferson DeAngelis. He a little bit before Lenny Bruce and George Carlin, I imagine so, and Belle Barth. He made his third visit to Greeley this week,
Wow.
bringing with him the cast of The Merry Widow, the best cast to have appeared here since the old Greeley Opera House
Oh boy.
was thriving. Can you imagine Greeley being a town with an opera house?
I like it.
I know, I would love it. And it's one of the things about Greeley is sort of like they couldn't even keep up a dinner theater. Unfortunately, the cast had no hotel to stay in Greeley, so they spent the night in a farmhouse outside of town. DeAngelis is truly a Greeley pioneer. And meanwhile, the farmer's daughter doesn't know who to point to for why she's
no.
late. No, but anyway. All right, here we go. 5-bedroom house for rent.
Oh wow.
Unfurnished, needs furniture and beds. Rent will be, how much do you think per month, babe?
$10.
No.
15?
30. But 30 back in 1923 with no furniture, unfurnished.
Wow.
I was like, what, breakfast is extra? But can you imagine being able to rent a house for $30 a
That's
month?
great.
Now, Brad, I was compiling these a couple of weeks ago, so some of these are a little bit delayed, but this would have been in December of 1922. Now is the time to wish a Merry Christmas
Oh.
to all those good people we know, except
Hmm.
those who call Christmas Xmas.
Oh.
Like the paper had a problem with this. And by the way, just in case you didn't know this, the most popular city for the Ku Klux Klan, Boulder, Colorado,
What?
who knew, was the site for a large gathering of members this week. Boulder has many more KKK members than Greeley. Well, isn't it? And it's funny, Boulder's gone so left.
Yeah, that's
When
funny.
Greeley has stayed right, but who would figure,
That's interesting.
And last week you talked about there's even another KKK in Greeley, but it's like the Culture Club for Women thing. Had nothing to do with you-know-what. Speaking of the Klan,
Yes.
speaking of them, and by the way, somebody, it was one of the Republican weirdos like Gates or something, allegedly at some point, yes, gave even a white power salute.
Oh my god.
I don't know if it was or just his hand moved some way. I don't even know what the white power salute is. They're like, I don't know. But a Boulder Salvation Army meeting was interrupted by members of the KKK who stopped the speakers and took over the meeting themselves. 8 members of the local Klan organized the Salvation Army members to listen to their speakers. Said the leader of the Klansmen, quote, "The great work of the Ku Klux Klan is to save Americanism, to preserve America for Americans." Where have we heard that kind of language before? Is in some kind of house with elephants involved somehow?
It's very strange.
Hun?
What?
Can you grab me the tambourine or both of the things, or I'll grab this.
Here, take this.
Ladies and gentlemen, guess what we have?
Oh no, what?
We have, oh no, I gotta play this. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I didn't realize this would be coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Lupton alert.
Lupton.
Lupton! Lupton! Lupton!
Lupton.
Alert, 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 alert.
Alert.
Yes.
Alert.
All this means is that our next story
Could I
has to do
borrow
with...
that alert, alert, alert?
Isn't that
please?
great? Yeah. Alert, alert, alert. This next story is about Fort Lupton. It may not even be funny, but I just love the name Lupton. Say it with me, won't you all?
Lupton.
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 Let it roll off your throat and onto your tongue. Lupton. Lupton. Lupton alert! With Greeley not in the count, the Eton schools have the largest enrollment in the county, with 560 students in the elementary and high school. Second in the county, not counting Greeley, is Fort Lupton, with 549 Luptonese students. Lupton, 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 Lupton. Oh, I love Lupton. Let's go elsewhere for our next item in Greeley Crimes and Old Times. So yes, all of these have to do with northern Colorado, Greeley, Fort Lupton, Evans, and places that aren't even on the map anymore, but were 100 years ago. But now we also have some new items of just weird, funny,
Lupton.
strange news, Lupton, in the world at large, from anywhere, just because we like to share them. For example, this is a story that comes out of England. It was reported in the New York Post, and I'm reading it pretty much verbatim. This is how the writer wrote it. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. Much to the horror of a new homeowner in the United Kingdom, a hoarder allegedly left a ton of trash in the house, as well as several thousand beer bottles filled with urine.
Wow.
The rubbish removers, a service hired to clean the mess, found the property in a state of total disrepair. Quote, you had to duck down to get in the doorways because the trash was piled so high. A lot of the bedrooms you couldn't even get into,
Ugh.
said the rubbish removers operations manager. Quote, I believe it was one man that lived there, obviously an alcoholic, and over the years he just accumulated waste and mess. It took a team of 8 professionals, 3 days, to move 20,000 pounds of junk, including empty and pee-filled cans and bottles. The manager said, quote, you've got the smell of the old beer, which obviously isn't great,
David,
and then the urine.
I just sent you 2 articles about urination.
Oh, thank you very much. I just love the way he phrased that, though. It's like you've got the manager of the refuse refusal people, and he's like, you've got the smell of the old beer, and then you've got the urine. I think he's kind of switched the leads there. I kind of think of like, there's the pee. There's also some old beer smell. I'm like, no, there's the pee. Can you explain to me though why a person wouldn't just take out the garbage?
I don't, because people might, it's a mental health issue.
I guess. I mean, how drunk do you have to be not to just...
I actually think maybe they don't know their garbage days.
That, And
that's probably what's happening. They probably miss the garbage every week and they're
It's-
confused.
There's something about alcoholics where they think leap year is garbage day. So it
Maybe.
takes like 4 years. I don't know. So Joyce said she just emailed me
No, I sent you 2, one from your phone, one from my phone about pee.
about pee. Let's
Mhm.
see.
One is the man who urinated on someone, and look at the other one.
Well, the futuristic toilet sensor wants to track your health with pee. Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Imagine getting health data by carrying out a bodily...
Yes.
Yes! Something you do multiple times a day, urinating. Soon you will be able to do just that with the U-Scan, a sensor that attaches to your toilet bowl and analyzes your urine each day you use it. Yes! Withings, this is the name of the company, Withings unveiled the sensor this week during the world's largest consumer tech trade show. Of course, if you've ever offered up a urine sample at a doctor's office, you know that pee can tell us important things about our health. If we're dehydrated, pregnant, I've always wondered, I've been wondering if I've been pregnant, if you have an infection, even the health
Well,
of some of
David,
your organs.
So then look at the next story.
Well,
They go together.
but I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, right now people do this Cologuard thing where, you know, you got to poop and you have to scrape and send in the poo, and then they tell you a week, 5 weeks later, something about your poo. Wouldn't it be amazing if they fix this, if they get this in homes? You can do this with pee and if necessary with stool.
Yeah.
You just kind of, you know, it goes into the toilet, a little probe comes out, goes doop, 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 you know, flicks away the pieces of corn and the walnuts, and it's like, oh, let's take a taste. Ah, diabetes. Yeah, that would be great. All right, I'm gonna read the other story.
It's related. So I think he was trying to test his wee wee,
Oh
but
dear.
in a bad place.
Let's see. Wait. Oh, it's the standing desks. Hold on.
No, it's I sent it to you from you. So look in your sent mail.
Oh, I
used on your
oh,
phone.
use my Gmail to send
Yeah,
me
look in
mail.
your sent phone.
Here we go. Squirrel. You're like a dog in the movies now. It's like squirrel. Is this about the Wells Fargo? Yes, it is. No! Oh my. This is going to be a great story. Oh, from the New York Post. Yay. Whatever you think of the New York Post, they do have the best odd news stories. What the hell? Wells Fargo, which by the way is one of the banks Joyce and I use, Wells Fargo has terminated its vice president of operations in India after he allegedly urinated on a 72-year-old woman when they both flew business class on a recent Air India flight. Shankar Mishra, who worked for Wells Fargo at its Mumbai corporate office, was identified as the executive who was terminated, according to the English language German news site Deutsche Welle. Mishra was said to be drunk aboard a November 26th flight from New York to New Delhi.
Look at him. He's going right where the thing is. He's knocking the cap and he's in there. You better fall off. Fall off.
During the flight, Mishra urinated on a 72-year-old.
He's looking at me. He's looking at me.
Yeah. This is the strangest show I've ever done. During the flight, Mishra urinated on a 72-year-old woman who was seated next to him. An attorney for Mishra told local media the banking executive reached a financial settlement with the unidentified victim. He also reportedly arranged to have the woman's clothing and bag cleaned up after it was stained with his urine. Probably want to buy her a new outfit.
He's knocking over the cap.
Well, it's easier. He can get right under the cap now.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. Squirrels are smart. Squirrels are smart.
Look at him.
But the woman is said to have returned the money and filed a complaint with the airline. According to the complaint, she asked flight attendants and staff to have him arrested and, well, kept away from her. Instead, the crew brought the offender before me against my wishes, and we were made to sit opposite each other in the crew seats. But he begged her tearfully not to have.
Why did he pee on her? That's what I don't get.
I guess he was so incredibly
Drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't you know there's a bathroom like a few feet away? He's on a plane.
I don't. Well, bathrooms are not that easy to get to and deal with on a plane, but you still don't pee on the person. Remember Gerard Depardieu?
What did he do? Poo poo?
He had he had like he couldn't, he was a big guy.
Yeah.
So he was in one of these seats and he had to pee real bad.
I need therapy for my squirrels.
And he started peeing in like this jug that he had, and then
Yeah.
they escorted him off the plane when it landed. And he said, this is a quote from him. He said, "I had to pee. I am an elephant." It's a true story. That was his quote. I'm an elephant.
Yeah, but why didn't he cover it with like his shirt, or cover like
I
with
don't
the
know.
sweatshirt?
Well, I guess even if you cover, you're still. I don't know. I don't know. I think you can still be discreet.
There was one time, this was terrible.
Uh-oh.
So I always have to pee, right? So I remember I was literally, thank God I went. So I went and then I sat down and then we had severe turbulence. It was like the worst, like everything but the bag flying, that oxygen thing. Everything else was bad. He fell off and I bet you he's back. No, okay. And so squirrel. And so I finally sit down, and then they say, okay, like the people that are like, get in your seats. This is going to be some pretty rough turbulence. The pilot's like, it's only going to be for like 10 minutes, but it's going to be pretty severe. You know, if you have any bags that are unsecure, like stow your bags underneath, close the little overhead cabin thing.
Yeah.
And so I sit down and then I hear bleh, and somebody started vomiting, and then I smelled like doo-doo. I think somebody pooed because we had really bad.
I was with you
Were
on
you
this
with
flight.
me? Yeah.
I remember the shit smell.
Yes, you were there. Yeah.
It was my shit.
No,
No, but I
it wasn't
remember
you.
that. I remember the stink.
And it smelled, after the vomiting, I thought that's bad, but I think the person also
Mm-hmm.
defecated themselves. Yes.
Could have been another person.
10
minutes of turbulence.
It was bad. And I remember the people trying to get up, and the flight attendants like, no, I'm going to strap myself in they seat belted in their little chairs in the crew seats, and they were like, nobody can get up. You can't get up. Like, you can't get up because something could fall on you.
Yeah. No, I
like
understand
in the
that.
kitchen or the bathroom. But I remember the person doo-dooed and somebody vomited.
Yeah, but you just had a regular like pee to make, and you couldn't get up and do it.
No, I think I peed right before. I've held it in many times where one time it was so bad and we were delayed takeoff, and I took off my seatbelt and ran in the back, and the flight attendant was like, you can't do it. I said, I have to.
Yeah.
I said, I have to go. Like, I can't not go.
Right.
You know, but
They should. I mean, I don't know if they should like have little portable urinals or
no, but
you
that's, I
can't
don't
have
know.
people
Yeah,
doing
would
that.
you want to be the one emptying that stuff?
Oh my! Well, somebody who is cleaning plane toilets. At some point, somebody is.
Yeah, but they're not cleaning individual seat toilets. They're cleaning.
Yeah.
I remember one
Well,
time.
they're
Was
disposable.
it my mom or dad? They went and they were going on a flight, and they had to delay the flight because I guess a kid had weed on the seat, and the seat was wet.
Ah.
I think it was my dad's seat, and they had to find another seat for him because you can't sit on that. And then I remembered like some lady moved her baby and held the baby on her lap so dad could have the seat.
Did they actually tell him that we can't give you that seat because
can't.
there's baby pee on it?
No, it was wet. You can't have somebody fly on that. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
but how do you know somebody spilled the drink?
I'm sure mommy smelled it. She was a nurse. She shoveled doo-doo and pee-pee in bedpans for years. That's what she did. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, there's
Did they fire the guy?
Yeah. Yeah, the Indian guy who
But
peed.
what happened? So he just peed on the lady
It's
and then
not
tried
saying what physically. I mean, if he took his dick out and just like pointed it at her.
I'm gonna
and
say Wells Fargo.
April showers like blooming May. I don't know.
But he was intoxicated. Let's
He
see.
certainly was. Yeah.
Wells Fargo, India. President urinates on woman.
It should bring you up just one result there.
It says, let's see.
There shouldn't be several different incidents.
People allegedly.
Allegedly.
Did you read the Post one or which one?
The Post, yeah, that's the one.
Let me read the people.com because that makes
It's how did this get in People
This
magazine?
isn't People
Is it-
allegedly urinating.
It's Pee Hole magazine, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
New York to India. Another passenger. I don't know. He got drunk
Yeah.
and then
I mean, I can understand if you're drunk and you can't hold it in and it just
then
runs
the
down
woman
your
said-
leg.
The woman filed a complaint. She said that he kept standing there until the person next to me tapped him and told him to go back to his seat.
So he wasn't sitting, but he
No,
got up
he
and
stood
just went
up.
like
Yeah.
he thought she was a urine.
And then it says she also claimed that Air India workers were deeply unprofessional and not proactive in managing a very sensitive and traumatic situation. The woman says she was just stunned. He started crying and apologizing.
Wow.
And he said, the flight crew told me that the pilot had vetoed giving me a seat in first class. I wonder why.
My God. And by the way, in business, he was a whiz.
This is what Air India said.
Yeah.
That we've taken a very serious view of this incident where a passenger behaved in an unacceptable and undignified manner in a New York Delhi flight that caused extreme distress to a fellow passenger. A police complaint has already been lodged, and Air India is committed to assist with lawful agencies in blah, blah, blah.
But how drunk do you have to be?
Well, they banned him for 30 days.
Only 30 days?
Yes.
So he lost his job, worth probably well into the six figures. But in 30 days, he can fly on a plane again.
Oh, and so the father said, this is totally false. My son was traveling from the U.S. He had not slept in 72 hours. He might have taken a drink on the flight and slept. What happens after that, he does not know. It's very difficult to prove.
Not
He
really
said-
difficult
and
to
then
prove.
The father says, I don't think he would have done this. This woman is 72 years old. She's like a mother to him.
What?
That he said he wouldn't like urinate on his mother, I guess.
But that's the thing. I didn't realize that he literally stood up
Yeah, he
in
was
front of her. How drunk do you have to be to mistake a woman for a urinal?
I don't
I was like,
understand.
so where's the handle?
Oh,
And he's grabbing her
New York
ear.
Times did it, but we can't read it.
Oh my God.
Obscenity.
And at the very end of this New York Post story,
The New York Times covered it.
well, good. Well, this is the vice president at what was it? The
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
Here's this one. Drunk man who peed on a woman in flight is identified.
Yeah. It also mentions here that last year, a 33-year-old California man was charged in federal court after allegedly asking a Southwest Airlines flight attendant if she'd like to see his penis before urinating on the cabin floor.
Whoa.
I wonder if he asked her, would you like to see my penis before I urinate on
You
the
know
cabin
what they call it? They call it, it's sexual harassment, right? Why would you?
Well,
I
how
don't
drunk
understand that.
Uh,
Oh, somebody said sacks him for urinating. That's funny.
oh yeah, you got to read the comments and the things like
Oh,
that.
I can't read. That's not right.
In June,
Yes.
a TikTok user posted video of a drunken man who was hauled off a plane. He was hauled off a plane by Greek police. I don't know why it's funnier that it's Greek, but it's funnier.
Oh,
For allegedly
yeah.
urinating on his brother
But that.
and provoking a mid-flight fist. Honestly, if I were the brother, that would be a fight. That would be like, Stavros, what the fuck you doing? It's like, boom, yeah.
I don't understand the whole. Like, I could see if you're drunk and you have to peeper. You might go you might go in the kitchen area and think
And
that's the
accidentally,
bathroom.
right.
Like, think the kitchen area is the bathroom. But like, why would you? Maybe he got up and he stood in the aisle and he thought the aisle was the bathroom.
And he was right in front of
I
him.
wonder if that's what happened. They don't.
He's like, oh my God, they're making talking toilets now. Must be a Togo. Hi! It's like, where's the lid? Sounds like a
Oh
lid.
my God. Okay. His lawyer said that the senior citizen condoned the act.
No,
That the older woman. Okay, let's see. Hold on.
no. No strange woman on a plane.
Especially in time of COVID.
Yeah. Nobody's going to condone
And
getting
they say they
peed
know
on.
they have
What?
WhatsApp messages saying she does. Oh, look at this. In the woman's complaint, the incident occurred after the crew had served lunch and dimmed the lights.
Yeah.
And then it says him stumbling a few seats back and then unzipping his pants and urinating on her.
Right.
And he only stopped when somebody else said to stop.
Well, it's kind of hard to stop in the middle.
Mm.
I don't know if this is the
The
same
crew
for
gave
women,
her a
but
set of pajamas and she sprayed disinfectant on her belongings. Oh, this is the area, I think. Oh, no, file photo.
I have to say, yeah, even after all that, but before she started spraying the stuff, her clothing still smelled better than the Ganges. So, man. Oh, ladies and gentlemen,
Weird.
let's finish up Greeley crimes and old times with one more. Let's do one more old timey thing, just in case it's going to be a while before we have more crimes to do. So, what else is here? What else is? Let's see. Last one. In Platteville, L.C.
Oh, this
Camp.
happened before. It says, bizarrely, an almost identical incident occurred on an air flight between Paris and New Delhi on December 6th. A drunk male passenger is accused of urinating on a female passenger. The victim did not press charges after receiving a written apology.
Well,
Oh
that's
my
nice.
God!
That's nice of them. My God.
I'm sorry. If someone pee-peed on me, I
Yeah.
want more than an apology.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But anyway, in Platteville, someone named L.C. Camp took a load of hogs to Denver. Meanwhile, the Platteville Catholic Church held a card party in which prizes were awarded.
My grandmother used to do card parties.
First prize for women went to Mrs. W.M. Winchester,
Oh, God.
and Mrs. W.M. Bushell won a box of Cracker Jacks as a booby prize for the women. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, let's face it, the prize on women is boobies. But that, my friends, was Greeley crimes, and old times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
But he is getting the news that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi!
Yippee-yi, 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 yi, yi, yippee, yippee, yippee.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of men complaining that women have pee on them. It's much tougher.
I remember when I was going to Hunter, and we got our puppy called Daisy, and I had dressed up so nice for school, and I would walk. My mom would walk me to the train, so I'd walk to her house, and we'd go to the train. And I'm all dressed up. It was my favorite outfit, and it was beautiful. I was ready to go. I held the puppy, and she weed all over me.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, and then I had to go back and change, and then I had to go back to it was just, yeah.
Oh, remember that's one of our first dates. We went to we were invited by friends to a birthday party.
Yeah, that wasn't weed.
At a theater. No. But the thing was, it was a birthday party, I think, for our friend.
He was
And it was
40.
at a theater, really nice dinner theater in Westchester. And someone had a relatively new baby. Right, it was like not an infant, but toddler.
It was a toddler.
Toddler.
Who drank a lot of milk.
Yeah, and they kept, to keep it quiet because there was a show, and they kept giving it like milk and snacks and whatever else, milk, and then they're holding it, and he's got the baby, and and suddenly the baby just go right down his suit, right down the. I don't know if it was a tux, but it was. Well, what do you expect? You just pump the baby with like all kinds of food and milk.
Iskandar?
Oh yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah.
going to Merlefest, right? The musical, in the
Yeah.
summer. And then he ate a lot of cheese in the morning and milk. And then he sits in the baby seat behind G, the driver.
Right.
And then we're like on the road for like 20 minutes, and he projectile vomits. right on G.
I can't believe it was that long ago
He was
that
a
he was in the
baby.
baby seat.
He was in
I mean,
the
he's
car
in
seat.
college now.
Yeah, he's in college now. He was in the car seat, so was Mook. We were between Mook and Iskandar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow. So, it's 10 after 12. Can you believe
God.
it? In the afternoon, Eastern time, here in the Daverhood, we still have a little bit more show for you. In fact, I apologize for this. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do, a short, miserable poem about a different place in beloved Colorado. But before we get to that, I do want to, talk about the Friends of the Daverhood, because we have a brand new friend this week. We thank so much to Reesa Woolf for being with us, for playing the Today Yesterday game. Everybody, make sure that you get her book, Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear. Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear, or go to her website, confidentspeaking.com, for, if you're an executive or want to be one, and English is your second language, or words are standing
Is
in
it
the way
for
of fear.
kids? That's what I wanted to ask you.
No, the bear thing is a grown-up book.
But then why is it talking to Mr. Bear?
I think she's using a very simple little kind of like.
It's not for kids. That's what
I
I
haven't read
wanted
the
to
book.
ask.
I don't. Yeah, it is not a children's book. It's not. She ought to make one, because that would be a very helpful thing for kids going through like junior high school and college when they have to present. But no, Mr. Bear Speaks Without Fear is for anyone who wants to get over stage fright, who wants to figure out how to plan and do, whether it's a TED Talk size speech or something more full length. Check it out. It's Reesa Woolf, Woolf. So it's spelled like Virginia and Leonard. Don't know if she's related.
No, she said no.
It
Wasn't her real name.
Really?
Even.
Oh, that's right, because it was Wolf of it. Well,
She
who
had a
knows what
different
Virginia,
name.
what Leonard Wolf's family was at Ellis Island too, But anyway, check that out. And she's our brand new friend of the Daverhood, and we welcome her. We also, of course, welcome back Leslie Hoban Blake. So please watch her in older episodes of Two on the Aisle, co-hosted with our friend Charlie Gross. You can see those on their YouTube channel, Two on the Aisle. And of course, Vicki Quade,
She always does well.
out in the greenhouse. And yeah, my God, she ran the jewels pretty much on the whole game. Our victor in the Today Yesterday quiz, and also go see her at the greenhouse doing a couple of different shows, including Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun, and of course Late Night Catechism. So we love these. These are our friends, just people who were in the neighborhood today, like Rabbi Sal Solomon. His website is shalomgamut.com. shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalomdammit.com. This is a place where you can read and hear his mini sermons. They're called Rabbinical Reflections. You also have the stage show, video of the stage show that he did back off Broadway, oh gosh, more than a decade ago, and even the episodes of his TV show that he did on Long Island Cable TV. So it's all there at shalomdammit.com. But in terms of Friends of the Daverhood, we've had hundreds of guests on this program over the years because we've done 870-something programs. And so we like to honor the people who've been on the show in the past and tell you what they're up to today. So here are some friends of the Daverhood and where they are at. First of all, congratulations to Seth Beeson-Hirsch. This past week he had, for the first time, a crossword puzzle in the New York Times. I think it was this past Monday. I mean, that's just like the dream of every puzzle maker, to get into the Times. So yay for Seth Beeson-Hirsch. Congratulations. And then what else? Playing now? Oh, actually, or if you missed it, I mentioned this on the New Year's show, but if you missed it, on January 1st, New Year's Day, they did the Greenwich Village Folk Festival to honor the 85th birthday of Tom Paxton. And among the people scheduled to appear were Tom Chapin, Cliff Eberhardt, Christine Lavin, Paxton himself, Peter Yarrow, and on video, Judy Collins, Janice Ian, and Amanda McBroom. All of those people have been on this show. So if you missed it, it was live in concert. It was also apparently streamed and still available. So go check out the Greenwich Village Folk Festival and especially see the one from last week where our beloved Tom Paxton was feted and sung to and sung along with. Major figure in American music, I believe. Anyway, so that's really cool. What else was I going to say about that? No, I think Paxton is coming to Baltimore in a week or two as well, so that would be worth checking into. I want to let you know that Eric Jensen is on Broadway in The Collaboration. That is a Manhattan Theater Club production at their Broadway Theater, the Samuel J. Friedman, playing now through the end of the month. And oh, honey,
What?
we have an alert.
Uh-oh.
Who do you think?
I'm afraid. Austin Pendleton.
It's an Austin Pendleton alert. Yes, Austin Pendleton is still, of course, very busy. He has directed the Broadway revival of the off-Broadway play Between Riverside and Crazy by Stephen Adly Yergis. It's at the Helen Hayes Theater, which is run by the Second Stage. So go see Between Riverside and Crazy, as staged by Austin Pendleton. On Broadway, running and making tons of money, especially over the holiday, it's Funny Girl at the August Wilson Theater, which features our friend Tova Feldshuh playing the mom, Mrs. Or is she the mom or Mrs. Straykosh? I haven't seen it with her. I saw it before the new cast came in. But anyway, she's in there. Lilias White is in Hadestown at the Walter Kerr Theater. Alan Menken wrote the music for 2 shows currently playing in New York. One of them is Aladdin on Broadway. The other is Little Shop of Horrors off Broadway, which also features our great friend Stu Zagnit. That is playing at the West Side Theater on West 43rd Street. Birdland has Jim Caruso, of course, his cast party every Monday night. Get tickets at birdlandjazz.com. Remember that our friend Evan Seplow edits stagebuddy.com, and Dr. Demento is doing new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 20 after 12, just about, Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. So we're just about finishing up the show. Not quite. I do want to remind you that if you missed any part of the excitement of this program, the squirrel watching in particular, or if you missed some of the early things we were talking about, you want to see it again, give us like 24 hours and this show will be archived at davesgoneby.com, where all the archives go. So you could literally listen to the very first program we ever did 20 plus years ago just by going to davesgoneby.com. You can listen to all the radio shows. We've only lost like a tiny handful over the years to technical problems and other reasons. Pretty much everything we've ever done on first terrestrial radio, then college radio, and the past 4 or 5 years, the video stuff, it's literally all there for free at davesgoneby.com. Please give it a look and a listen. We even have a separate archive there of just the interviews, if you want to see them abstracted and taken out of the longer programs. davesgoneby.com. We also put all our archives up at archive.org. We have a Dave's Gone By channel there. Check it out, archive.org. We put our audio up as podcasts at castbox.fm, castbox.fm. So if you're on the go and you don't want to watch, you want to just listen wherever you are, that's a really good option for you. Remember that all our Facebook shows have been archived kind of automatically on our Facebook page if you keep scrolling down and down and down. So there's a ton of different ways you can access this material, years and years of Dave's Gone By content, comedy. Back in the day we had music, the jokes, the interviews, all of it is all there for fun at any time at davesgoneby.com. And remember, please to also write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com. Yes, still have the old AOL address, davesgoneby@aol.com. I have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. It's Radio Dave and the number 2. And don't forget, lastly but not leastly, my other website, davelefkowitz.org. If you want to read my plays, if you want to read my song lyrics, if you want to, what else? All the stories that I wrote, journalism things and theater criticism that I've done. I haven't been able to upload a lot of new stuff over the past few weeks for just being too darn busy, but there's more than 1,000 pieces on there already of all aspects of my writing.
Like a squirrel.
Yeah, and there may even be some squirrel stories on there. But check it out, Dave Lefkowitz, LEFKOWITZ.org. Give it a look. Anyway, we're not, yes, you think I've forgotten? You think, man, he'll close the show and he won't do that horrible little poem. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. It's called the Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And we're going to Newcastle, Colorado.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain, Colorado,
Colorado, indeed, because Joyce and I lived in northern Colorado for about 13 years, and I got it into my head, one day to start writing a poem about as many different places in Colorado as I could think. I was only going to do a couple, and then they just kind of kept coming, and now it's a bit of a struggle because I've done more than 200, and some places are easier than others, but I'm still doing it. I'm still doing these Colorado limericks of the damned. I call them that because limericks are supposed to be kind of cute, amusing, and mine try to be, but mostly end up being vulgar and disgusting. So if you have children, this one's bad. So if you have kids in the room, you might want to scoot them out for a moment as I talk about Newcastle, Colorado. I'll give you a little info about the place. It's a small but still growing town of under 5,000 people, incorporated by coal miners back in 1888. Kind of interesting, a methane explosion in 1896 killed a bunch of people, and those coal fires were still burning as of 2 years ago. So well over 100 years, fires burning from a methane explosion in a mine. My gosh. Currently, though, other parts of Newcastle have a golf course, and they have restaurants with names like the Lazy Bear, Hogback Pizza, Two Coronas, and of course, Hong's Garden Chinese. So Newcastle, kind of, trying to build that up and make it more of a suburban-ish town. Not helping is going to be this poem. It's a 5-line limerick, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Newcastle, Colorado. A haughty young man from Newcastle got caught in a horrible hassle. Pulled over for speeding, he lost his fine breeding and called the policeman an asshole. Please send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. Yes, I am not responsible for the content of this program.
David, I found the place near the Ding How that sends the Squirrel Buster. Is the Ding How place in Cockeysville?
Yeah, Lewiston, it's near Mace
Tullamore?
Chapel. Yeah.
Tullamore?
Tullamore, yeah, it's at that shopping center. We can go there. I can get some Lou's Ding How. And How. Lou's Ding How is actually the name of a Chinese restaurant not too far from where we live. And it turned out to be very good. So I definitely want to go back there.
It means the best, right?
Ding How. Ding How. But the weird part is when you look for it on the web, it's called Lou's Ding How.
Mm-hmm.
But the restaurant is the Ding How Inn. So I don't know, we're probably missing a lot of business when people are looking for like Lou and he's under D. I don't know. But anyway, the food was good. So we're looking for a place to obviously buy either a new bird feeder or a new bird feeder with a way to protect it from the evil
Where is this located?
squirrels
Near
that are
Sam's Club.
propagating.
This is near Sam's Club.
All right, well, I don't know where that is. But yeah, we're on a mission today. Obviously, we're gonna figure out
The Valley
how to keep the squirrels.
Don't make fun.
Why not? to keep the squirrels away from our bird seed and our bird feeder, so that birds can enjoy it. And maybe I don't mind the squirrels having a little bit of a nosh. I really don't. But don't commandeer and don't break our stuff. I mean, really. I guess squirrels and us have a rocky relationship. Get it? Rocky the Flying. Okay, on that note, you've been watching the 876th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. Thanks
Maybe this place is
once again to
good.
Reesa and Leslie and Vicki. We expect to see you back next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for the 877th episode of Dave's Gone By. Until then, don't miss your Dave's Gone By. Have a great week. Enjoy the early, the early winter and the early part of the new year before all the tragedies really start cascading. Make it a good week and go. Hey, where's my thing? Gotta find my music. Make it a good week and gone by.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
And that's about squirrel. False alarm.